Here we are once again for another Teyvat Summit. Back with, well, Walrus already did the introduction, so thank you for that. Greatly appreciated. But if you guys want to go through and introduce yourselves, as many of you guys may already know, Final Flame here. You know, the fire guy, Dia, Hutao, name it, you know it. But yeah, Jello.
Hi everyone, my name is Jello. I have the channel Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. And excited to get hyped for Fontaine.
Hello?
Hi, I am Flowcat. I am here. You are here. And welcome. I was doing Genshin content, but I kind of started doing Final Fantasy XIV content. I don't know what I'm doing. My life is a mess. So that is me.
Nothing wrong with that. Don't worry. Walrus, quick reintroduction for yourself for the peeps.
Oh yeah. Name's Walrus. I like to give bad takes for Genshin just to get engaged. I mean, I talk everything Genshin Hoyoverse related, and I really enjoy having conversations. Hence, why we're here. So yeah, good to be here and excited for Fontaine for sure.
All right, and Lay, last but not least.
Yes, you better say the best for last, because if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't even be doing this right now.
True.
If someone is lazy and didn't want to continue this.
I didn't say I didn't want to continue it. I just wasn't feeling it at the time.
Who got Jello in here?
I mean, you did a good job.
Who got Walrus in here?
You did a good job.
Yeah. Who got Flo cat in here?
Okay. So why aren't you hosting?
Huh? Because I am a nobody.
God damn. I'm a has-been, so it's all good. All right. Anyway, today we are here to talk Fontaine, talk about the community, talk about Genshin. That's what we're here to do. So, I guess the first thing we got to talk about for today's topics is initial thoughts on Fontaine. Now, I'm gonna start this off real quick. I'm gonna be real. I wasn't expecting to be hyped for Fontaine, but the region, and I'm talking about just the region, I'm not talking about all the other stuff, the region actually looks like a W. I think the region is going to be a great time for new players, returning players, current players. I think everybody's going to have a good time. There are some aspects I'm still a little iffy on, but we'll discuss that later. But yeah, new region looks amazing. You guys?
Yeah, I think that I'm really excited for the new region. I'm really excited for a lot of the new characters, but to be honest, I was most excited to finally get a new 5-star waifu character, and we still are not looking forward to anyone anytime soon. So I'm not, but overall, I'm extremely hyped for the region. Looks awesome.
Wait, so you're not looking forward to like any of them right now?
So far, okay. So out of the original, out of 4.0, we've got Liney, Lynette, and Freminette. None of them look particularly interesting to me. Liney is like a monopyro side grade, which is already sort of a boring team, and he doesn't really bring anything new.
Yeah, but
and
I mean, like, I know 4.0 characters. No, they push them to the side. I'm talking about the rest of the cast.
Okay, well, I am like massively simpling for Chlorine.
We'll get
now.
Don't worry, we'll get into that. I think you're not alone.
We could just be giving that could be the only thing coming in 4.x, and I would be massively hyped. So,
okay. Glad to hear it. What about the rest of y'all?
We should just go through Flowcat because we introduced ourselves that way.
That's what y'all were gonna do. That's
okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so Fontaine looks great. I think it looks better than I thought it was going to look, appearance-wise, and I think that the diving, appearance of it looks cool. Like, I'm excited for it. I'm not as excited for the characters. I just feel like there's so many characters at this point. I've pulled on so many character banners. I just don't care as much. You know, there are some designs that look really appealing to me, and I think I'll go for it. But like overall, I think I kind of have all the characters I need. I don't really need to pull for a specific role or anything. So it's gonna be a chill region for me. I'm looking forward to the story and stuff, and the music. Oh my god, they used one of my favorite.
Really good.
They used one of my favorite symphony orchestras. I used to be a professional musician, and
Sick.
I love what they do with music in Genshin. Just the fact that they use traditional instruments and that they take the music to the different areas of the world and use musicians from that area of the world. It's great. It's really wholesome. It makes me happy.
Okay. Boris?
Yeah, but Sumeru music still sitting number one. I'm just okay. I'm just saying, personal preference. Sumeru slaps way too hard.
Does slap.
Not even in the same tier list. We need a tier list for the area music at one point. But anyways, in regards to Fontaine, I'm actually a little different. I don't think I'm as excited for Fontaine as I was for Sumeru, and it's not because it's not because of quality or aesthetics or whatever. It's just because I don't know. Like, have you guys ever finished an arc in an anime, like a super insane arc? Like, you need that time to unwind and be like, okay, I need at least maybe like 1 or 2 episodes to just chill. I feel like we're at that point in the story. Like Sumeru's story was just they just blew the lid off in terms of like revealing stuff, introducing more like questions, answering some old questions, right? Kind of diving so deep more into the lore and stuff like that. And I feel like when it comes at this point, everybody should have played through Sumeru. So I'm just gonna say it, right? The whole scene with the Greater Lord,
Yeah.
Duka
Rukudavata.
yeah, anyways, Greater Lord, and the whole situation about that, and how the arrow cell, or like how the tree runs through the whole world, and just more
Yeah,
background
that
lore.
was sick.
Sumeru gave us so much in that Fontaine. I've said this, like, even I think around when Sumeru came out, is that Fontaine should be a region that, and lore wise and story wise and just region wise, it should be a slower region just to give us time to recover. And then I feel like Natlin is gonna once again pick up the pace and just build it straight into Shizan. We're gonna get whiplash from Natlin to Sinnoh. That's how I feel like the story structure is gonna go. So in terms, for me, Fontaine is not as exciting. It's more so wind down time, and that's how I'm gonna treat it. And honestly, the characters looks alright. I guess I'm like, apart from the Hydro Archon, I'm not really excited. I think the little girl who made the drink for the other dude, I don't know her name. He was like, she had the drink on the table and wanted him to like have a nice sweet drink, and he chose something else, and she was super upset about that. It's like a clean, like a little character model. I think she's pretty cute. I was like, okay, but that's really just it. Yeah, like, what do you think?
Unfortunately, I am not a story guy. I don't think Genshin's story is bad. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good story, but that's not the main reason I play. So I'm definitely most excited for the characters. That's the reason I play the game. I play the game for the characters. I can play the game for the combat. And even though we don't really get a lot of in-game, that's still the main reason why I play. So I don't really have much to say about the story. It's cool. It's whatever. I'm glad Child's coming back, so I hope he gets a cool cutscene.
Yeah, that was neat.
You know, Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. But yeah, for the most part, Fontaine looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting time. I'm actually looking forward to it. And I definitely feel you, Walrus, on that music bit. Because, let's be real, Sumeru hit different. I remember when I went to Port Ormos, I was sitting there for like an hour just dancing to the music. That music just hit different. But yeah.
So good.
I think Fontaine's gonna be a good old time. But for sure.
I think I just have a couple questions before I get fully excited. Like, how fun is the underwater exploration gonna be? Like, that's a really big part of it. Like, I think it's going to be fun, but I just don't want to like have my expectations sky high. My biggest thing is like I can't use Yalan to traverse the underwater. So like, what if I have to do daily commissions underwater? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm swimming
Oh,
everywhere without
don't
having Yalan.
don't worry.
I'm
They'll
not
sell
sure.
you. They'll sell you another one.
That's okay.
They'll sell you another solution to that. Like,
I'm actually
underwater
fine with that.
Yalan.
I'm actually fine with that. They can do that. That's okay. But yeah, I'm unsure about that. The story, I'm super hyped for the story. The story, Genshin has been, I think it's been going like this with the story, like ever since the Archon Quest interlude. I think with Zhao and Yalan, and the one with the Lantern Rite with Shenhe, that one was really good. And then going into Sumeru, the Archon quests were so good, and then the Caribert quest was super good. I just feel like they've been banger after banger for stories, so I'm really excited about that. And I feel like exploration has been solid, but not like absolutely captivating. Like I actually really do like the underground exploration of Sumeru, but I know a lot of people haven't even touched it. And to be fair, I haven't even done all of it, most of it. So, but I do like it when I go down there. I just hope that they change. I'm really excited for that daily commission change as well
That's
that they
true.
announced,
That's
because
true.
like I just feel like I don't have that much time to play now. I do a bit more because I'm full time, but before, like I would log on, I would only have like half hour to 45 minutes a day to play. So I'd get my commissions done, I'd do my res, and I really wouldn't have that much time to like get into some explorations or some story quests because it takes a while to get to sort of get into it. So I would prefer to actually get into the stuff that I enjoy and not having to do the same daily commissions over and over again.
No, I hear you on that. Anybody else? Any other final thoughts?
Other than my wallet being in danger, not for characters either, because
Weapon banner?
no, I hate exploration, so I pay people. I'm not gonna lie.
You
No
pay people
way.
to play the game?
Yeah, and they do it for a very cheap rate, so it's very worth it.
Shame, 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 Leg.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah. You just snitched on yourself. Anyway,
What? I hate exploration.
I mean,
It's
I
not
get that,
fun.
man, but you don't gotta snitch on yourself. Come on.
You think I 100% my map on me my time? Hell no.
Like
Hell
I
no.
do have to agree to a certain degree that unfortunately the game was made for like a certain type of player, like Breath of the Wild kind of players, right? Like people who love doing these tiny little tasks, finding out these little chests, doing these little puzzles. Like this is what the game was made for, and unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of titles available right now for people who likes games of this quality but don't enjoy these tiny little side quest tasks that we're forced to do. But I think like eventually we're gonna have more and more similar titles, and we will all find our place. Like
It's just
within
like,
these
what are you
games.
going to do in an open world game if you don't put this kind of exploration in it? I'm not sure. I
Like
think one thing that I would do is put some bigger bosses and cooler bosses, like have like 20 rune guards go after you for one chest or something, like kind of more like impactful moments while you're exploring. But I
That's
guess they're
true.
Yeah,
scared to scare
actually,
away the casuals. I don't know.
I'm one of those people that for like I'm taking a little bit of a break from Genshin. I don't think I've logged in for like over a month, but I played for like 3 years straight, so it's kind of needed at this point. But what I used to do is I would just run around and kill mobs, and I know it's like pointless. You get like barely any artifacts. You get like almost no money for it, so like it's not really worth it. But I just like doing it. And the issue with Genshin is that you have to run really far to find like a few enemies to kill, and that's frustrating. But when they add those camps where you run in and you kill some enemies and then a wave spawns, like more
Yeah.
enemies spawn in and then you kill them, that feels really good. So if they continue, I think they have added more of those in Sumeru. So if they add even more of those in Fontaine, especially because of the limited mass of fighting space, then yeah, I don't know, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I would really love like the Blood Moon kind of from Breath of the Wild, where you have maybe there's like a time of day that it's extra dangerous and more intense monsters come out, and you can get a 5-star artifact here and there, something like that. I don't know. That would be really
I
nice.
think we need another world tier level
really
like,
badly,
really badly.
Yeah.
really badly.
No,
That would just make the whole thing so much more satisfying to play. Like just
I
get better
wouldn't
rewards. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind grinding this game like a traditional MMO. Like you have rotations of mob spawns and you just like farm one circle. Like just go like imagine if your Yelan is so freaking cracked and built. You just take a C6 Yelan and then you are able to clear one rotation every like 3-4 minutes versus somebody C0 free to play Yelan who takes like 7-8 minutes to clear one rotation, and in turn you get more character EXP. So meaning like kind of like a Pokemon party, right? EXP share. So Yelan's just out here grinding out the monsters, and then all the rest of your new characters or like your new character can just slowly passively get EXP. So instead of using resin, this is an alternative to EXP grinding. So versus let's say you want to spend resin to do that, I'm okay with just actively grinding for everything, artifacts like maybe some weapon drops, weapon craft materials, rare drops. I'm okay doing that, and I'm sure there are other people who find that to be an attractive way to play the game. And I know this is a very unpopular opinion though. I know that most people would absolutely hate playing this game like that.
true.
But I'm just saying like that's something that I would love for this game, and I wouldn't mind doing it. But I know it'll never happen. It's not the
Yeah.
right game for that.
Yeah, I've made mob route videos, and like that's one thing I enjoy doing is finding like routes where you go through and you just find a bunch of enemies back to back and you fight them all. And like I'll tell you that you can make about 100,000 mora a day. You can get about
Wow.
30 purple artifacts a day, and you
Wow.
can get about 100 plain artifacts from the investigation. You know, like the blues and the crappy white ones and stuff.
That's actually a day. That's actually really solid.
It does add up a lot if you do it a lot, but I think that it's still not worth it. Like I keep my characters at level 85 to farm the EXP, so that's a little more worth it to do stuff like that. And like my Kazuha is like level 88. And I farmed on him for like over 100 hours, like something stupid. So I mean like he should be 90 by now. Like there's no reason for it to take that long killing
Yeah.
overworld enemies, you know?
I'm gonna be real with y'all. I know this is a Genshin. Let me just real quick. I'm very happy now. If you would have asked me before Star Rail came out, I would have had a different answer. But now that there's another game I like to play, thank God, Genshin's not grindy like that, or I'd be fucked.
Yeah,
trying to play both games.
I do agree that and I said this to Walrus on his stream as well, and I said this as well. I enjoy the game for what it is. Like personally, it's my favorite game. I love it. I fully love it, enjoy it for what it is. And if it wasn't the way it was, like if I did have to grind to keep up, when I was working two jobs or working a job and then having a business and also having a YouTube channel and having two kids, I would not have been able to keep up with Genshin the way that I did. But because it didn't take me very long to min-max my stuff, I was able to consistently play and enjoy myself for a long time and not have to feel like I was behind. So like kind of the mythical, busy professional that we talk about who's like the target audience for the game, who has income and who has that kind of stuff. I was kind of that person. And I think if it was really grindy, then I might not even be here. So I kind of do appreciate it for what it is, and I still really enjoy. Like even though like yes, we can't. The only Abyss only resets every couple weeks. It'd be nice if we had another version. All this different stuff. I really enjoy being able to keep up and to min max, and I love the combat and switching up different characters. But I do think that it's a better experience for a Battle Pass Welcome player than it is for a free to play, because you get more new characters and new toys to play with, and more new content to play with. So I don't know. Were you gonna say something?
No.
Play. Oh, sorry.
Showing off his cat.
That's actually.
Anyway, though, we gotta move on to the next topic. So,
Okay.
we gotta discuss the current state of Genshin, even though we were kind of already discussing it. So it's pretty much the same topic. But I want to discuss like your thoughts of Genshin now versus when we finally get into Fontaine. Like,
I mean,
yeah, go there.
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah,
for
go.
all of you? Because it's kind of been a debate. Are new characters content? Because I don't think they are.
I don't feel
Does
like they are.
anyone disagree with me?
They shouldn't be, but
What was the question again?
Or do you think new characters are content? Because I don't think they are.
Ah,
I guess what do you mean by that?
Like, I don't consider your Layla guide, Jello. You were comparing Diona and Layla, right? They
Yeah.
basically serve the same purpose with a little bit of differences, right? I don't consider a character like Layla, even though she's new, I don't consider that content because she basically is already doing something that we already had in the game, just in a slightly different way. I don't consider that new content.
Well, not to be that guy, but you also do have to consider like the fact that some people pull for purely personality, and like these characters are designed to represent a particular personality type that like certain people are going to relate to and certain people aren't going to relate to. So even if they do redundancy with kids, I know people are going to get so mad at me. It's so stupid though. You should, oh my god. But like for real though, like that's some people, they really do just see a character that they relate to a lot, and they're like, I want to pull that character. So I mean, she's like the tired college girl or whatever. So
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna take a stance, and I'm gonna say I disagree, and I do think new characters are content.
can you just please that's okay if you're disagreeing. Like we're here to have a conversation. Just
Totally.
could you like iterate, please?
Well, I've heard that a lot. The new characters are not content. And I guess the thing is they're not necessarily free to play content, because you're not going to be able to get as much characters as obviously someone who's spending to get every character. And if you're not buying the battle pass, you're going to have a much harder time leveling up enough new characters for each new one to be content. And I do think that new content does have diminishing returns, because every new character that comes out is like, it's less worth it to build for you because you've already covered so much. But I do think that like when Smash Bros does DLC, they don't release, like, they release some new stages, but people consider the characters as the new content. It's the new fighters that people are excited about. It's not the the new world or the new whatever. And you all said yourself, you're like, yes, exploration is content, but I do think the characters are a part of that content. And I think most people continue to play the game because they're looking forward to a character, not because they're looking forward to a zone.
That's true.
True.
And I do think that even Genshin Impact said so themselves. The fun of the game is trying out new different teams. They said that in that famous interview, that was one of the lines that they had, is that the fun of the game is trying out different characters and different teams. And I do agree. I think that there is a bit of a diminishing returns again, because there's only so many new teams that you can have. But I think that the variety between Layla and Diona is exactly what Flowcat said, is that you have that choice of different personalities. Like for me, I wouldn't have finished building my Diona if I didn't have to do it for my channel, because I just like Layla so much more. So it may not all be content that everyone likes or content that everyone uses, and I would totally accept the argument that it's not good content, or it's not the content that we need, but it is what keeps people playing, and it is what makes the money, and it is what essentially, like, if I make a video on a zone, I'm gonna get 0 views. If I make a video on the character, I'm gonna get a lot of views. Like, people care about the characters, and that's just how it is. So I do think they're their content.
Yeah, I'm probably slightly biased because I am a huge whale and I don't pull on a lot of characters. So when I do pull on a character, I usually get their weapon. I usually get constellations, right? So
Sure.
all these new characters don't mean that much to me because I pull so little.
Yeah, and I think free-to-plays feel the same way, right? They're only going to get a character on average, I think every 3 banners they can get a limited 5-star on average, something like that.
I think if you guarantee or whatever, but like, I mean, I anecdotally know a lot of free-to-play players that get decently lucky and have like a good number of 5 stars. It does take time, though, for sure. A lot more
Wait,
time.
what? I thought free to play means you can only use the characters the game gives you for free, or else you don't count as a free to play.
Oh
No,
my
no, no.
God.
You can't have constellations. You can't have limited 5-star weapons. What? No way. That's not free to play. Free to plays are supposed to be dirt poor, broke with nothing. They have to suffer.
But
Yeah,
they all have C6 4-stars. Of all their 4-stars, they all have C6.
No,
That's how it
there's
works.
that one guy who's free to play who has better accounts than most whales.
True.
There's always that one, and he's like, yeah, completely free to play, by the way.
Yep. By the way.
Oh my
That's
god.
MTashed in both Genshin and Star Rail.
Ain't that the truth?
Anyways, yeah, like I also agree with Jello in that I think when you ask the question like our characters content, we have to look at the context within the context of Genshin Impact. I think strictly speaking, if you want like as a gacha game though, right? Like we're talking about not just Genshin Impact, most gacha games, they have to revolve their contents around their characters because you're not paying money to unlock the regions. They give that to you for free, right?
Mhm.
That's why they have to associate everything they release back to the characters because if they don't incentivize characters, where are they going to earn their money from? So that's why it's not so much that the characters are content as they have to be because that's the only thing they can monetize unless they just go crazy with the skins, which Genshin is not. So like think about it. Everything that they monetize in the games pretty much revolves around the characters. Even the resin, like why do you need resin, right? It's to farm for your characters. So everything they tie it back to the characters. That's why we say characters are content. It's because it's structured this way across all gacha games because that's the only thing they sell. They just sell the characters to you guys. And I know that can feel like I don't know. I don't know how it makes people feel. To me, I'm okay because unless like as long as you come in understanding that's their business model and you're okay to spend or to save up, right? For free to plays, you can save up months of grinding for a character. But that's the relationship we have with this game. That's why like look at every region comes out with the bosses. Everything's like if you don't pull the characters, you almost like you have no reason to really fight the bosses apart from the fact, let's say you have another character that shares the same element, right? Then you can go maybe kill this boss for fun to get the what's the crystal drop because you have multiple bosses to choose from to get those elemental crystals that you need to ascend them. So I mean, there's that, but apart from that, like there's really no point. We talked about this like many eons ago, like, and it's never changed, and I don't think it will change because Hoyoverse needs it to be like this. They don't need to reinvent the wheel to get us to have incentivize us for newer ways to pull for these characters. This works, it's worked, and it will continue to work. And they'll do it. They've done it for Honkai Star Rail, so they're like they got that thing like on lock right now.
Yeah.
It's just what it
Mhm.
is.
It would be neat if they did charge for regions and for new modes and stuff like that, but they just don't and they never will, and it probably wouldn't be nearly as successful because you can achieve a parasocial bond with a character, but you can't do that with the region. So people are always going to spend more on the characters.
Well, actually, here's something real quick. I don't mean to delay the conversation more,
No,
but
go.
like for all of everyone's opinion, like in my opinion, I would rather have the characters purely monetized and have all the content for free, like all the exploration, all the story, all of that's free. Never have to pay a dime for it, versus the other way around.
Yeah.
Because like if I got all the characters for free, but I had to pay for like every freaking expansion, quote unquote, and it was like $50 or something, like
That's true.
I don't know, that would tick me off. I would be frustrated. Like I can just decide not to pull a character, and then
Yeah.
I've saved money.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean.
That's true.
Well, isn't that actually similar to like Call of Duty, right? Because Call of Duty, all the new expansions and maps and stuff you have to pay for, but if they come out with like a new, they come out with new like characters or guns, you can usually just use the in-game currency you get while playing to buy that stuff. So you technically don't have to buy it, but you just gotta buy the expansions.
Right, like Destiny is the opposite of what I'm saying. Like Destiny, you get like I think you can farm all the gear in the game. Like you can buy cosmetics, but I think you can farm all of like the guns and the armor and the cool shit. But you have to pay for every single raid. Like you have to pay like it's like over $200 to experience all of the game or something. And it's just I prefer to have it where the game is just free. And it's like, well, if you just want to get greedy and get all the characters, then yeah, you gotta shell out some money. But
the real question is in COD, can you pull an M4 out from your cleavage?
Ain't no way.
I'm just saying. And does it have the special effects with the music and the jiggle physics, right? Like, what are we really paying for here? Like,
Yeah,
do
I
you
had
get to
someone
see
try
the
and
rock
tell me.
amps? Yeah, I mean, come on now, come on. The degeneracy speaks for itself.
Yeah, I had someone try and tell me that I should play Elden Ring because it's such a good game and Genshin is such a bad game, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, but is Raiden in that game?
People are asking, what are we paying for, Dia? You're paying to struggle. You're paying to actually get to enjoy the game as a difficult piece of content. Challenge. You're paying for.
Well, you know what
challenge.
you do. You know how you do the challenge is you do what I'm doing, and you pull for constellations or 5-star weapons, and then every abyss is hell.
Yeah, that's
That is
content,
an option.
baby.
That's
You know-
content.
You know what's really funny about Elden Ring? I was just realizing, like, FromSoft writes their characters really well. Genshin writes their characters very well. But FromSoft tries to make their characters look like as ugly as possible, like as horrendous and Lovecraftian as possible. But like Genshin is just like the total opposite of that. It's like the most attractive people you've ever seen in your life, or whatever, animified or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah, different taste. Anyway, well, actually, we can move on. I feel like we covered that topic enough. So, we gotta talk back into Fontaine. And the first thing I gotta ask is diving. I gotta know your thoughts on diving, a water level. I know many people don't care for water levels in any game, and now we're about to get one in Genshin. So
I'm screwed because I can't swim.
well, I can't swim either, but this isn't a game. But yeah, let's go down the. Actually, let's change up the order. Let's start it up.
You're gonna ask the guy that just told you he don't care about exploration.
Hey man,
You're gonna ask me
what do you
first.
think? What do you think? Diving.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm probably
you're gonna have to
hate
dive
it.
to get around too, just to do
I'm probably
experience the
gonna
story.
hate it, to be honest with you, because like just like Jello said, I like using my characters that I can explore around with, like Yalan, Venti, Kazuha, Wander, like the characters like that. If I am gonna explore, I have to have someone in my party that can easily move around, right? And I can't do that underwater, so me personally, I'm probably gonna hate it, unfortunately.
Okay. Walrus.
Okay. Firstly, I'm sure you guys all heard they said they literally made half the region about underwater
They made
exploration.
half.
Like half of the frickin' region is under. Like, you better have like some savings ready for whoever you're gonna hire to do the exploration.
All right, I got 2 people lined up right now.
Ain't no way.
That's crazy, dude.
I mean, like, and they did try to put effort into it, and they said, "Oh, we're not gonna make it. The combat is not gonna be the same as land, which means like you're completely screwed now. All your characters underwater are pretty much gonna do the same thing. Like they have
Yeah.
a couple buttons they can do. So you're basically for 50% of the time you're exploring Fontaine. It doesn't even matter which. I mean, it does because of their talent, no, their passives, right? Their each of their passives could, which is just more reason to pull for Fontaine. Like, I swear, if they make like full Solor OP underwater, and then she has this like super OP like water, like she can walk on water, and if you click a button or something, she can then dive into the water, right? Like stuff like,
Yeah.
and then underwater she has, of course, like and it'll make the underwater exploration a little more bearable or more fun or more engaging. I don't know. Is that considered a paywall? Right? We don't know this stuff yet, but I'm just saying it's not out of the
Well,
realm of possibilities for
they
Hoyoverse.
did already tell us about Mika's diving talent. Like it helps with the speed, stamina, while underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
that's already
at
one
this
way.
point, diving just feels like it's kind of forced. I'll say it. Like, I don't know if other people agree, but I feel like splitting up the region to 50% underwater, where you can't use your character skills, abilities, and whatnot, right? Like to do the normal combat system, it feels quite forced. I would be okay if it's like 20%, 15%, but having half of your entire
Mhm.
region being about
Right.
this, I don't know. I feel like they're not going to really evolve this piece of mechanic in the future. Once Fontaine kind of blows
No,
over, and they're
yeah.
not going to introduce this in other regions.
No,
It's
they won't.
Fontaine exclusive, so it's going to be like a
It's a
thing
sideshow.
that, yeah, it's like a side thing, right? Like like honestly, at this point, who can disagree with the fact that with the statement that Hoyoverse is just experimenting with mechanics in Genshin Impact, and whatever they succeed with, they find out, they'll take it into future titles. Maybe they'll have a full-on underwater title in the future, and they'll just bring this mechanic and be like, yeah, that's perfect. Where they have a good basis for it. I don't know. I'm not too excited. I'm gonna try it for sure, but I can't say I'm good. I'm like super like, oh my god, yes, underwater. Let's fucking no. It's, I think like out of 10, I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
Bruh,
Out of 10?
Yeah.
why the hell did I pull? Why the hell do I pull the content if I can't even use it underwater?
Oh, don't worry, they'll sell you more content.
Why not
That's for
pull
sure.
the
They're about to put on a sale for you.
all right. Flo, what about you?
I think it looks cool. I'm glad that they went with like a cheerful vibe. To be honest, I have that phobia of open water where there's like treading open water in an ocean is like one of my biggest fears. That scares me like so badly. So like the fact that it's like all happy and it looks cute, it makes me happy because I don't want to have like trauma or something. Not trauma, whatever. You know, I don't want to be scared swimming underwater. It looks cute. I like that. I like the exploration. It looks nice. When they said on the live stream that they tried to make combat work underwater, it made me laugh. Like that's so ridiculous. Like in what I want to see what their ideas were. Like what were the potential solutions that they had for that? Because I bet they're so bad. Like I bet they're maybe not bad, but just like there's probably massive holes in every single one of them. There's no way that they could have made that combat work underwater, like in a good way.
They'll have a separate weapon banner for underwater weapons.
Ain't no way.
For each character.
Bro, can you imagine
Right, like-
stacking a Eula burst underwater?
For real, like, and then there's all the whole thing, like you're underwater, like it's all hydro, so like of course that makes the game very mono hydro oriented randomly, and it just like
Either that or just like freeze is ridiculously OP.
right, yeah, you can just perma freeze everyone forever, and you don't need a hydro unit, so you can just run like triple cryo with Shenhe and an Animo unit and just go to town or whatever. But it wouldn't make sense. It would be so weird. Imagine using Hu Tao underwater. Like what?
I think
What?
that the way they did it makes sense. Like, so
Yeah.
you're swimming underwater, and then you come up on like some underwater ruins, and you go down to the bottom, and it kind of transitions into a underwater on land.
Yes,
space, right? So you're
that's the
technically
part.
underwater, but you have combat on land. So I think it's
That's
actually
yeah.
a pretty good happy medium as long as it's done right. I think that they found the right solution as long as but it's subject to if it's actually fun.
I would agree. Some of my favorite areas in the game to come back to are the areas where they have like a ton of like ruin guards stashed away. Like there's like over in Inazuma, they have like a couple areas that you can go to, and you can just go down these little dungeons and fight a bunch of ruin guards and stuff like that. And like they have some areas like that in Sumeru as well. It's really nice, and I like that. And so if that's what they do, where like you go down there and there's just like a bunch of ruin guards and stuff, like that'll be pretty awesome. And I think that's
Yeah.
pretty atmospheric.
And it's also kind of cool. You're flying in the sky, and then you have like the water bubble up high, like in the sky, the water cube, and you go in there and swim in the water, and that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that was
It
crazy.
I think it could be neat. I think it's just as long as you can. I think what my friend said was as long as you can go fast often, and you're not like just logging, waiting, slowly swimming. Like swimming in this game feels horrible. So I think
Yeah.
that's where my like hesitancy is do they make it nice to swim from place to place? And if it is, then I'm sure it'll be fine. Because the only time that underwater is bad is if it's like swimming above ground, in my opinion.
One thing they didn't confirm, and I want to know is like stamina consumption reduction buffs. I love those. I use those all the time. So like Kazuha has that passive reduction, like Heizo has that as well. I think Kaya, but then you can eat food too. You can stack it. You can stack it a lot. And so if that works underwater, that'll make life great. I think
Well,
that'll be
those
great.
buffs won't work underwater. It's a
They're
completely
probably gonna
different.
make
It's a
new
Well, I
completely
know it's a
different
different stamina
system.
bar, but I don't
Yeah.
know if they consider that the same in
No.
like programming wise.
Because we know
Did they
no,
confirm
because
that?
no, because we know Freminet has that passive, and it's specifically for underwater.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So there's no way that Kazua's works for
Oh,
both. and Freminet.
they're gonna add new recipes. They're gonna
Yep,
add new
they
food
will.
That's
recipes
right.
that
They will.
specifically do that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine though. Like as long as we have recipes that make it easier, stuff like that we can access. Maybe some gadgets that work underwater. Like that would be sick, and that would probably
You're a
cover
food
it.
Andy. Hey, I've never used food in my life. I saw food.
I cook every recipe that I get.
Wow.
I do it.
I
The only
mean,
I
is I
get
use
those.
I make some steak and that's it.
I
We used to have
definitely
Discord
feel
challenges about cooking.
I definitely feel like they're trying to push the agenda, like you guys were saying, the new characters. They want them to sell.
Yeah.
Lenny has the passive of finding Fontaine specialties. Freminet has the new diving passive in order to help you, keep more stamina so you can travel faster for longer. Lynette, I don't even know what Lynette does. We'll find out. I don't even remember. But it's the small typical things that we've already been like introduced to already in previous regions, like the specialties for one. That's a big one. A lot of people pull characters specifically just for that, But I
I
feel
did
like
have some comments saying that they were going to.
yeah. So I feel like Fontaine is kind of pushing that envelope to a bigger degree, especially now that diving is a major mechanic that's going to be associated with it. Now, as for the exploration of diving, I think that's going to be okay. It looks like it's going to be a pretty great experience. I think the swimming mechanic seems graceful. It didn't seem too bad. Everything looked pretty. Like I said, region as a whole, I think is a pretty good W. But the combat, even though, yeah, they couldn't use the original combat system that they have for on land and they switched it, I'm not so sure how I feel about that, because that's going to require a lot of because you saw how it worked. We have to find those small creatures and then take their power ups and then bring it back to wherever we need it in order to like achieve the combat that we need to. Now I don't know if that's gonna be like we need a specific power to do like a specific thing, but why would they have a bunch of different, nuanced little abilities if we didn't need bits and pieces for certain things? So how do you guys feel about like the combat system that they're introducing with the underwater diving?
No comment.
No comment.
I feel like this is what I would call forced interaction. They basically, because they design it into the game, they're like, we have to make sure everything links together. So we're gonna force you to do this, so you can do this, so you can do that, so then you can do that. So if you want to do that, then you better do this. But if you want to do this, then you gotta do this. Then it's so on and so forth. So that it's basically forcing you to go through the like the process of achieving something, right? And unless you don't care, let's say if you want to unlock this chest, then you got to go do this. If you don't care about the chest, then you can just choose to not interact with all that. But the fact is, because everything is linked together, if you don't care, then you omit everything pretty much,
Mhm.
right? Like I think for me myself, I'm gonna go down there, check out the scenery, maybe do a couple of those. The novelty is interesting. I can say that. Because it's the first time doing it, it's interesting. But you do it once, you do it twice, three, four, five. You do it for a couple days. There it gets to a certain point where you're just like, okay, we gotta run through this whole loop thing again. Go grab that. It just becomes like, okay, I'm doing it for the sake of the reward. And once the payoff becomes solely the in-game resource, then I think that's when the feature dies for me. Because there's especially if the process of going about doing this task is not engaging, it's not dynamic, it's not flexible, then it just becomes a chore. And I think
Yeah.
with Genshin, they don't do a very good job of keeping things engaging, fresh, and worth it after you do it for like the nth time. And I think it's underwater. It's going to be the same thing. The first
I feel like
hour is going to be amazing.
the only one that I think they did a really good job recently was I love the what's it called? The withering zones. I really, really enjoy the withering zones a lot. I enjoy using elements on the nodes. I enjoy using the charge shots at the things and then the combat. And it's
Yeah.
kind of actually a bit tricky. Like it can be like I feel it's like a little bit of a challenge. Like you can't like if you have super weak characters, you're actually gonna kind of die. And especially if you speed run it and don't like do all the things, you kind of ignore the withering and it kind of creeps up on you. If you can either play it safe and like do all the things you're supposed to, or play it kind of risky and you're exposed to more withering and you kind of just have to kill them really fast and have a good healer. And I actually really, really, really like enjoy it, just the process, and the reward is pretty nice too. You get a pretty nice amount of primo gems. So I have some hope that there could be some good stuff because I think that is the kind of stuff that I'm looking for personally in exploration. And I actually, this is a super hot take, I actually really did enjoy the big brain Inazuma puzzles. I loved coming back to them time after time and seeing if I could solve them. And I really enjoy it, but I'm a kind of nerdy kind of guy like that. I used to have those like little desk puzzles that you kind of played with whenever you're on a disc, and that was kind of like what puzzles were for me. Sumeru, the puzzles are a bit more of a chore, but the underground puzzles are really good. So I don't know. I think that as long as they're not annoying, like what I hate is when you have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth doing things that you know that you have to do, but it just takes time, but it's not engaging. That's what I really hate. I know that there's a lot in the game. I can't think of a specific example right now, but there are a lot in the game. So what I want is more of the good ones. Yeah.
I can name one right now. It's the
Which-
one in Kanomiya where you gotta go out and change the
Oh.
day to nighttime. You know you gotta go out to change it, and you remember where it is, but you gotta run through the maze, go to the thing, change the day to nighttime, then go
To
back
watch
to the
that
place.
freaking
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
cutscene. The
annoying.
yeah, and
freaking
watch the
cutscene
cutscene.
every
Yeah,
single
Oh my God,
time. The
yeah, that was
cutscene
annoying.
made it the worst.
That was
I love
yeah.
Economia, but that cutscene freaking drives me up the
Yeah,
wall.
I'm one of those gamers where I don't look up puzzle solutions like ever.
Same,
Like I solve
same.
them on my own. So I feel like I have a pretty good judgment of like, oh, this is actually a cool, fun, satisfying puzzle, or this is a joke. And like like Mondstadt and Leeway, and it's like there was a joke. It's a baby game. It's like and people like that because they don't want to have to take the time to look up the puzzle solution because they don't care and they just want to get the primo gems. But for me, the more complicated puzzles are actually gratifying. Like I really like when they did the Golden Apple Archipelago and they did some crazy puzzles for like Mona's Island and stuff like that was fun to figure out, and like the eureka moments were good. And so
the only thing I didn't like about that was the limited time, so I felt like I had to look it up because I
Yeah.
couldn't come back to it when I had time later.
I will admit that like I didn't look up solutions to the puzzles, but I did look up solutions to make sure I didn't miss anything. Like at the end of the event, I looked up everything to make sure I got everything. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree. But so like I really want the more challenging puzzles. I like it when they take time to solve and give you like some, you know, like multiple chests or whatever. But
have you
I
done
know
the
that-
underground in Sumeru? I think it's actually really good for that.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
I'm honestly kind of far behind on stuff because I've been on a break, and also like I finished the Archon quest in Sumeru, and then I was kind of like, okay, I need to take some time. And so I haven't done a lot of the character quests, and I haven't explored the underground and the desert, and I haven't done like a ton of stuff. So
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Anyway, we got one topic that I know that has been a point of contention for a lot of people in the community. So we got to talk about the new combat system, the introduction of the Numa, and I don't even know how to say the other one.
Usha?
Yeah, Usha
Can we
combat.
just say light and dark?
Yeah, I guess you could say light and dark. But yeah, the introduction.
I wasn't
of
around
that.
for this light and dark thing, so I have no. This is all over my head.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, let's start with Jello Impact. Thoughts on this new system?
Sure. I think that it just really depends if it's fun. Like if the bosses are fun and it's fun to fight them, and like maybe if you don't bring the Uja Numa mechanic against the bosses, because okay, I guess to lay the groundwork, there's these two mechanics, and you have to bring, they have bosses stances for the bosses, and locked behind whether or not you bring and apply essentially that new type of element.
Yeah. And
so if you bring them, you'll ideally have an easier time, similar to Simon, right? This is not new. We've had a lot of these mechanics already. We've had a Simon, we've had the algorithmic of intrinsic overseer network, something. And then we've had the Golden Wolf Lord.
Yeah.
And we've had I can't remember some other ones, but we've had like element locked mechanics. And so this is very similar to that, except it's region locked. And so obviously, as Walrus was saying, this is exactly like this is their way of making even someone who doesn't want to pull the new characters to feel kind of forced to pull the new characters to keep up. And inherently, I don't think it's a terrible thing, unless, I don't know, what I would prefer is if it was more dangerous if you didn't. So like you're subjected to much harder hitting attacks, and they do a lot more damage to you, and you have to play better to get around it, but they're not too much tankier. But my worry is that they'll just be a big sort of sponge if you don't, like damage sponge if you don't, and then you'll have to, I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to be fun. It doesn't get me excited. Like it feels like a mechanic that they're introducing just to make you get the new characters, rather than like, here's a fun way to interact with the bosses. Like I don't feel like there's any benefit to the player to have these mechanics, at least from what they've showed. It just seems like a detriment. Like it seems like a puzzle piece that you have to bring. There's nothing about it that makes me like, oh, I can't wait to fight the boss. But I don't know. Maybe when I see the bosses and I see how they look and how they fight in the different stances, that I'll feel better about it. I'm not sure.
Personally, for me, it feels like a bit of a cash grab. I mean, let's just be honest. It feels like a cash grab. You're introducing this new system that only Fontaine characters can have. Now, my main thing is this. As long as, like you were saying, it's something that kind of speeds up the process but doesn't completely halt it.
I guess the thing is, like, in the Abyss, speeding up the process is...
Yeah, in the Abyss, speeding up the process is kind of the name of the game. Like, I mean, shoot, the Aeon Blade Dragon, you know the guy. If you don't bring a bow and arrow, that man's gonna fuck you up. He's just gonna sit in the sky and look at you all day. Yeah. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I think, from what I've seen of this system so far, and I mean, I can't say it's concrete. It seems like it's a wet method of stopping the boss from doing like certain mechanics and kind of like an enemies kind of just like it seems like it's just been a stun for the most part. That's what I've been seeing at least. It seems like it's some kind of stun system.
I think I had a dream where you do more damage if you use it.
More damage if you do.
It's all fun and games until they put it in the weekly boss as a mechanic.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely will be. Oh, it definitely will be.
Yeah, and I like there's the light version and the dark version. So
Yeah.
I don't know if all characters inherently have both, or there's gonna be
No.
light exclusive and then dark exclusive characters. So then you
Yeah.
so instead of like, okay, this character covers both light and dark. Now you have to get one light
Well,
and then also a dark to cover for both of these situations.
I think I had a dream that the Archon and maybe Nuvolat do both.
Ain't no way. But that's how they
Interesting.
would sell the Archon.
But that was a while ago, and we know how dreams of far future are not as reliable as near future. So it's hard to say if that's totally accurate.
But I mean, think about it. It is her nation.
Yeah,
And
exactly. That's the idea, is that the two that kind of look over both are both, and then people that are assigned to one or the other are just one or the other. I'm just really scared that it'll be doable in the beginning, and then it'll be just like total kind of pay to win feeling. But I guess it's really not that different again than the Golden Wolf Lord, for example, where you have to build a Geo character.
yeah.
And I mean, imagine trying to play through Sumeru without playing Dendro at all.
Right, but see
true,
that's
yeah.
but it's different than that though. Like I don't have an issue with element locked like things. Like that's fine. Like that's already a part of the complexity of team building, and I love
Yeah.
team building, especially like weapon types. Like I think it's cool that claymores and bows and like they have different use cases and like
Yeah.
different things that they're good at. But this just feels like a needless layer of complexity. This feels like they're just slapping it on because they saw that Dendro boosted sales by like a metric butt ton, and they're like, oh, if we give these characters some kind of pseudo new mechanic, then everyone's going to want that new mechanic,
Yeah.
and they're gonna pull these characters. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
Here's my other problem with it. Here's my other really big problem. Okay, this is where the real problem is for me. Okay, I'm fine with even a new system, and even if it's a cash card system like Dendro was, like you mentioned, Dendro was. But here's the thing: Dendro comes with us to the new region. My
Yeah,
Hyper
exactly.
Bloom team
That's what I'm saying.
is still good, but Fontaine, like then
Right,
in
like
Madeline,
if
I pulled these characters for the Usa Numa mechanic, and now they're useless. For that
exactly
reason.
like Geo, like the Wolf Lord, for instance. Like yes, you need Geo, but you can use any Geo character. You
And my
don't
Geo
need a
is still
specific.
good. Sort
Yeah,
of.
and so if they release a new Geo character, you can use that character. If you want to
Yeah.
use your old Geo characters, you can use your old Geo characters.
And
But
I
like
can still use my Zhongli on other teams, and I can for his Geo-ness.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly. But no, it's too specific, and it's like it's going to be annoying. Like I already see it happening in the future where it's like in the middle of floor 12, they just throw some stupid Fontaine boss so that like you have to play through the whole abyss, and then you 2-star that chamber, so then you have to play through the whole floor 12 again with your stupid Fontaine character so you can get that last star.
so I had another dream where there's how there's those nodes in the abyss that infuse the current enemies with electro. So like you can have a rune guard infused with electro.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I already don't do Abyss that much anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just gave up on like I run through it once, and then whatever I get, I get. I don't care. I'm not redoing it over and over to try to get 1 star. Like that's like 1% of my primos. I'm so over it. Like
I redo the abyss for hours. I don't care. I have fun. I just play it for
some
fun.
people like it. Some people do. They really do. I get frustrated because I do like creative team building. Like I'm not a meta team builder, so I just want to make my fun, fancy teams that I think will work well, and I want them to get through it. And I don't want to have to like sit there and be like, oh, I need to like optimize this because if I don't, I literally can't do this. And it's just like, whatever.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna quickly give my thoughts on this. I think if this turns out to do well, like they can sell more units, yeah, like Natlin is gonna be like fairy and demons, and then Shisnaya is gonna be fucking Eskimos and Bigfoot. They're gonna do this because we're getting to the point where like Flo, you even mentioned this earlier. There's too many characters. people are starting to lose like what are we polling for, like, right? And it's just, and also you got to make newer players come in and feel like, okay, like I'm going to be spending money now and I'm going to be picking up these really valuable characters that have benefits in this region, and I feel that, I immediately feel that, right? It's actually beneficial for me because I am so new to the game that I don't feel like I've wasted so much in the past. I'm just getting in now. So not only is it to give older players a new reason, it's to give newer players a boost in like self-worth, almost in like, okay, I may have missed Kazuha and he, God knows when he's coming back, but I can pull for like this light dark stuff and I can immediately just like blow through the content and feel amazing while doing it, right? So and Natlin, oh fuck me, like I can't. If they keep doing this, like Natlin is gonna be just a completely new BS thing that they throw in there. So,
I'm not gonna give my opinion.
but it's
No,
I feel
combat.
like-
This is
I feel like-
combat.
Well, I feel like everybody would hate me if I gave my
No.
opinion.
no, you have to give
You gotta
it.
say
Are
it.
you
You
are
have-
you the one? Are you the person who's like, I kind of like it?
No, it's not that. Oh God. Okay. I just genuinely. Okay, everybody's gonna hate me. It's whatever. I don't care. But I just genuinely think this whole thing is being completely blown out of proportion, and it's nowhere near as bad as people said.
Well,
Like,
we don't know yet. To be fair, we don't know
Why
how
is
much
that?
it
Love
affects gameplay.
The
Why
thing
do you
is,
think it's overblown?
because like they kind of showed, like Final said, like all it really seems like it's gonna do is just stun the enemy, right? So like they're not gonna be able to attack you as much. So like as long as you have defensive options, you should be fine. Like that's unless they didn't show everything. I could be wrong. Maybe they didn't show everything, but from what they've shown, it just seems like it's just a quick stun.
I think it
That's
depends if you're a dreamer or not.
I mean, I am a dreamer. I know what you're talking about, Jello.
I mean, oh no. The thing also is that if it's so insignificant to the point where people can honestly just ignore it, then it also defeats the purpose of
That's
having
true.
it to begin with. Hoyoverse needs to get it to a point where, okay, you kind of feel it,
Yeah.
but there's people who's like, okay, that's annoying enough that I'm gonna try to counter, and there will be people for sure who's like, you know what, I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't care. Like people who have like 1 or 2 C6 characters that they saved up for like 2 years to get, right? Like there are low spenders. Dante has a C6 Ito. I don't know if C6 Ito is just gonna close his eyes and just kill the thing without even giving a damn. But there will be people who only pull C0, building characters horizontally, like I warned them not to. I'm just saying, like if you built your characters vertically, there's a good chance you can just ignore this mechanic
I do
altogether.
agree with that.
Yeah, if
It's-
you completely horizontally build all your characters and you have them all at C0 free to play and at level 80, you might find it a lot more difficult to just ignore this mechanic. It depends on how you built your account.
Yeah. There's this guy named Jello Impact. He's trying to build every character. I feel bad for the guy.
He's a dreamer too, though, so he can be prepared.
No, I mean it's that's insane though, for real. Like I've tried, like I love doing team building, so I've tried building a lot of characters, and I mean, I'm 3 years deep. I'm 3 years deep. Like, come on now. Like it's endless. It's endless,
It is.
and like the artifacts. Like I have so many saved artifacts in my inventory. I have like 800 saved artifacts that I haven't rolled at all. Because they're like, oh, maybe they're good. Maybe I need it in the future. I don't know. And that's what happens when you start building so many characters. Is you're just like, oh, maybe they'll release an HP scaling character with this artifact. Maybe I should start saving that. Oh, maybe I need. And it's madness.
It's mad.
I do not recommend. I recommend people to stop at 2 teams, and then like Walrus says, just build vertically. Just do
I'd
that.
say 2 teams. I would say like
A nice roster.
3
The
to
most
4
we-
teams. I'd say like 3 to 4.
The most we've
teams.
ever needed is like 12 characters for like an event. That's the most.
But
we've
I
ever
think
needed.
sometimes some characters are really not good. Like
True. It depends if you want to like if you want a 36-star abyss every rotation, then you do need more variation. Yeah.
I'd say 3 teams, kind of like three DPSs with a variety of supports that you can interchange. And then I actually made a video on this, but that's with what I recommend. And then you can kind of and then I recommend vertically investing for that. I've completely changed my tune. I started my channel saying that you should just horizontally invest, and I've completely changed my mind. I've been converted to the dark side, and I do not believe in what I'm doing anymore.
Well, Jello, you're going to be one of the perfect people to come back in a couple months after, the Archon's been released and they've thrown a lot of this light and dark at us, and we're gonna be able to ask you, like, bro, since you're stretching yourself thin out there, tell me, how's it feel?
Yeah, I think I do have a really interesting position with when I have a very unique account because when we had that really, really, really hard abyss, I think I have a really interesting account to try and deal with that because what that abyss really wanted was just more DPS, and I had so much variety. I could really only clear it. I could only 36 star with my best 3 teams. That's it. The other ones, I used to be able to 36 star with every single character on my roster. I could 36 star because they're all built literally all my main DPSs have 195 to 205 crit value on their stats if they're main DPS, and they all have C6 4-stars. They're best in slot 4-star weapons. If they're battle pass, it's R1. No 5-star weapons, all that. And I felt the squeeze so much on that abyss. My Raiden and my Nilu teams did it, but the other teams, and Ayaka did it too. When I used her 5-star weapon, but when I didn't, she really struggled. It was really, really eye-opening for me. All of a sudden, I was just faced with if I wasn't this well invested, I could have been playing for a year and a half and not been able to 36 star Abyss being a meta player. And if they just raise the DPS requirements 10% more, I'm toasted. My account is toasted.
So regarding that abyss, real quick, personally for me, because I also have I have all the characters in the game. All of them are max level, so I have a bunch of variation. But for that abyss, it wasn't really tackling it with my best team. It was more changing up my team to match the mechanic because I almost never use Bennett.
I'm actually talking about the abyss before that.
The one before that? Okay. And that's different.
The one that was actually DPS check. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one was definitely DPS check. Okay. I was just making sure. Anyway, let's move on. So, speaking of artifacts, like Flo was talking about, and he has all those artifacts stacked up. Good thing for you is that we have some new quality of life changes coming with the patch 4.0. We got the new artifacts in the strong box, as well as a new team screen. And I wanted to know you guys' opinions on, well, just the quality of life that's coming with 4.0. Personally, I was expecting a bit more in the terms of quality of life, but I mean, it's Genshin. Kind of take what we can get. But I want to know you guys' thoughts on it.
It's nowhere near enough. I guess I'll take it because we have no choice. But come on, man, it's nowhere near enough. I'm sad.
What do you think we need?
Dude, wait. Let me go get some pen and paper. And me write down this list.
What do you think is that should be here ASAP?
Okay. Increase the resin, similar to what Star Rail's doing. How instead of 21 hours to fill up, 24 hours, and give us the regeneration rate to where it actually fills up for one day, right? So you're not having to, because 21 hours is awkward, especially with my schedule. There's times I'm having to log in twice a day at very awkward times just to make sure my resin doesn't cap. And then, bro, why in the hell are we still at the resin regeneration rate that we are still at when we've been asking for that for 2 years? Am I the only one who doesn't agree with that?
The thing is this. I used to be of the same opinion, but when I kind of look at Star Rail versus Genshin, the thing is this. After you do the main story in Star Rail and you spend your resin, right? What else is there to do? There's not really much.
Less than Genshin. Less than Genshin.
Less than Genshin.
A lot less.
And that's the thing.
Nothing.
When I really think about it like that, I think Genshin does its whole in Star Rail. A majority of the experience outside of story is just farming with your Trailblaze power, right? But in Genshin, after you use your resin, you still have a lot of other things you can do. Now, I'm not saying some of them are the best things you can do, because let's be real, some of them are not that great. But you do have options. You know what I mean? You can go explore. You can go do almost infinite side quests. I don't even know how many they have out there. You got there's so many things you can do. You can mess with your surrounding teapot. You can go fishing.
Achievement hunting.
Yeah, achievement hunting. Well, Star Rail has that too, but it's mostly combat based. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, but basically, Genshin has so much more it can do. So it doesn't put its main focus on the resin system because you have those other outlets of gameplay. That's what I think.
Yeah, like
personally.
I remember when I started playing Genshin, and it was my first gacha game, right? So like I didn't touch my resin for the first like month and a half I played the game. I literally
Same.
didn't spend it because I had every day I would wake up, I was like playing Genshin for like 4 hours and just doing tons of story, quest, exploration, and I literally did not feel like I needed it. I had plenty of Mora, I had plenty of books. It's only when you hit those later levels that it really kicks in where you're like, oh yeah, you need to be doing this. Like you can't let that cap. Like you got to spend it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Do I feel like Genshin still needs more quality of life? Yeah, but in terms of resin, I still would take a W for resin. Like, I think they should definitely improve the resin system, but I can understand why they haven't really done anything with it. But I do think that having it, like, do it like what Star Rail did, set it to the cap where it actually fills up in 24 hours,
Yeah, that would
and
make
that
a
would
lot more
be
sense.
way better. Because
Thank
then you
you.
don't have to
So-
log in at awkward
Yes.
times. That's for
Yes.
sure.
I do
Y'all
agree.
agree.
I 100% agree with
Yeah,
that.
so y'all agree with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I agree with
Yeah,
you
I
on
agree
that.
with that for sure.
Yeah, so we definitely need that. I definitely 100% believe that. But then, like, there's stuff like artifact loadouts. I think people have been asking that forever.
Mhm.
Well, they said that was coming pretty much.
They said it, but come on, man. Like,
What?
they say a lot of things.
Yeah, they said that was
When?
coming.
Where?
In the developers' notes, 2
Developer
days
notes.
before the live stream.
Oh, I didn't
They
read
said-
those.
Yeah, they said loadouts and they said daily commission overhaul.
I
So-
remember the daily commission overhaul. I don't remember the loadout thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So hopefully they get to that soon because they need to. People have been waiting almost 3 years
there's
for
another
it.
huge one. There's another huge one.
Yeah.
Okay, bro, Abyss, like Flo was saying, you had to go back and redo the final chamber because it was 2-star with a different team. Why the absolute fuck do I have to do chamber 1 and chamber 2 again that I already 3-starred? Why can I not go directly to
Nah.
the floor?
Disagree.
That, bro, why?
Do you hate fun, Jello?
Are you a masochist?
Yo.
I guess I'm gay. I guess I'm kind of gatekeeping. It's okay.
No, it's all right. I agree that I think it should be an option because I find it particularly really annoying. Like,
You know what?
it's artificially extending the gameplay.
I think that you should be like the first clear through you have to go through the order, but once you've cleared it, like as long as you've cleared it, at any 3-star clears, you can start your fight directly from the 3-star. So for example,
I'll take the L.
because
No,
the
tell us.
problem the problem is I think that you have to be able to do like not you have to you should do that so that you can just bypass. I think you clear floor 1 for both halves 3 stars, and then the floor 2 first chamber 3 stars, and then the second half is like 1 star, and then the other 2 is like 3 star at the end, so it doesn't matter. So then you can start your fight from chamber 2, the last chamber you've already 3-starred, you can just start there, meaning that because you've already proven you could do it. I think I get what Jello is saying, is that like the whole point of Abyss is supposed to be like a one streamlined test of your team's strength across like these challenges, right? So but the thing is that oftentimes it's gone to the point because a lot of people would choose not to do it simply because it's too much work. From a business perspective, as long as if Hoyoverse understands, not only are people already not challenging the Spiral Abyss, but even less are trying to go through multiple times to finish it. So making that process a little bit easier will only be beneficial for Hoyoverse, so more people actually come back and try, because a lot of people have the means and the power. They have a good account. It's just they don't want to deal with the hassle of playing through one chamber one the first second half and then go back to, especially if the last star, like you have a 2-star on the second half of chamber 3, like fuck that. No, you gotta like play through all 2, because if you have it in the second one, the second you get a 3-star, you're done. I'm not even playing chamber 3. I'm out.
And
Right.
I will say I absolutely hate when you just barely don't 3-star and then you have to do the whole thing again.
Mhm.
That part is really dumb.
That does
You should at
suck. Yeah.
least be able to retry after it ends. Like,
Like
Yeah,
I don't think I don't think frustration should be part of the challenge.
Which is funny.
Like, it
'cause
can be
this-
challenging gameplay, but I don't think like having to reset like with Eula, like if you have Eula and you have to crit fish and stuff like that, like that's not, I don't think that's like a good challenge, you know. That's a bad challenge.
Well, that's you should have built better artifacts. Then.
honestly, it sounds like a life choice. You picked Eula.
Hey, but
Hoyo-
like as content creators too, like think of, okay, let me use someone as an example. I Win Deluge, right? And he does his crazy, you know, you can call him, I don't know if you like him or not, but he does his crazy showdowns, right? And sometimes it's in the abyss. So sometimes I feel bad for the dude because he had some videos where like he was trying to do a specific floor on like chamber 3, the second half. And I'm like, man, he had to do the abyss so many times with like 17 teams going through every chamber just to get to that one. Like,
Yeah, I've made
No.
I've made videos like that. It's really tough.
yeah, like, I think that would be very beneficial for content creators.
The only thing is, yeah, to me it does. To me, I would prefer that there was no option to go. I would prefer that the hardest content, like again, I would prefer that the content was made in such a way that you had to go through the whole thing and there wasn't even an option to go back and try it again, that you had to do it all in one shot. And that's what the hardest content was about, because I like what Rawlish was saying. Piecing the puzzles together to craft a team that works for all 3 chambers is part of the fun for me. So if the content is designed such that you have to go in multiple ways, I think it's nice that there's a way to kind of cheese extra stars, and I don't like that it's optimal. It bothers me that it's optimal. I wish it was just like kind of how like the Elite Four in Pokemon, where you have to create a team that can beat them all, and you go through the whole thing. You like if like it's I thought it was so lame when you would say like to the point where I would say to myself, if I lose, I can't save the game and just reload it from right there. I have to go back to the start and get it through again, because you have to get it all through in that order. To me, that's part of the challenge. It's part of the fun. But I think that there should be, to make a happy medium, what I would say is that there's maybe an easier version of the Abyss, where kind of like what they do for events, where there's difficulty levels. Maybe you can choose a higher difficulty level, and then you get some more 5-star artifacts. And then the easier difficulty level, you can just get your primos. And then that's kind of where I would want to be on it. But
If only we were in that kind of world.
I mean, for quality of life, for me, artifact preset is a big one. Followed by that, skippable stories, especially side quests, right? And then my chat here is saying a Paimon mute button, huge quality of life. Like, where is that?
Just a specific slider for just Paimon.
Yep. You can just. And yeah, I think honestly, artifact, and of course in the Abyss, another problem is we need a character edit screen in the Abyss. I hate having to go back out,
Yes,
change
yes.
everything, and change my team characters.
Yes.
And, oh wait, did my Xiangling have the right weapon? Let me
Oh,
exit the
yes.
whole
it's
thing
so
out.
trash.
Yeah.
That's so trash.
Especially
Yeah.
when you're a content creator and you're making videos, and you're like, I remember I ran Abyss once, and I was like, why is this so hard? And Barbara had my Kokomi's artifacts, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I was trying to show my buddy how good Nilu Bloom was, and my barber just had no artifacts at all, and it still cleared, but I was like, it didn't feel very good.
Yeah, and like of course Abyss team loadout. So one button to just import a team instead of having to. Because I don't know about you guys. I think Jello, if you have all the
Yeah.
characters, every time you're like, wait, where the hell is that character? Where is he? Where is he? And then you're like scrolling up, down, and you finally find it. Like, okay, and then the next character. Wait, what team am I running again? And you're like, okay, that team. Where's that character? It takes forever.
It's really annoying.
It's very annoying. That's a quality of life thing. I
No
would
reason.
hope they just put it in there. I don't think it takes them much resource anyways, right? So
And like, what's
come
the
on.
point of having those team loadouts for the overworld but not for the Abyss? Like,
Yeah.
let me look at my team loadouts. That makes no sense. It's already there.
Exactly. I need that. I think I would say half of the reason I sometimes don't even want to do the Abyss is it's because of that. It's such a pain in the ass.
And then you could also have the team. Like, if it takes you to that team screen, then you could also access the character screen from there too. Like, it makes too much sense.
Here you go. Here you go. Anyway, so I guess we pretty much agree.
Were there
that-
other? I wanted to hear if there were other quality of lives that, like, said there were so many.
Well, one that Walrus Chat's been arguing is simulated style universe in Genshin. Do you agree or
This
no?
one.
Wouldn't say that's a quality of life, but I
No,
do.
no, for me, more game modes with more fun combat, that's huge quality of life. For me, personally, because I would actually be itching to play more if I had that in Genshin.
It would be nice to just have something to change up the pace. I will say that, especially a new permanent mode of gameplay. That's actually fun, but it seems like for the most part, with the quality of life that they're bringing with them for 4.0, oh, they're also bringing the underground map feature too, so you can see that. A little late. I
Yeah.
needed that for Sumeru.
That is a little late.
But I guess better late than
Little
never.
goofy.
But yeah, I guess for the most part, it seems like most of us agree that there's still quite a bit of quality of life that Genshin needs to get out of the way before we're truly satisfied. Is that what I'm getting from everybody?
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if if next patch, like the first 3 patches of Fontaine, I'd be curious to see if there's more coming, or if it's going to be really just like what we just saw, which would
Yeah.
be definitely disappointing.
Yeah, you see,
Did they introduce the TCG in 3.0, right? But it didn't come out until like 4.2. Is that what happened?
the TCG was introduced like later in 3.0, if I'm correct, right? Like,
Like,
Do you mean
was it
like
on
the-
was it in the 3.0 live stream or was it in the 3.1 live stream?
no, because we got the Genius Invocation thing later, and that's when they released TCG. It was like 3. Was it? It was like 3.3 or 3.4, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it was definitely like well after Sumeru's
Yeah.
initial launch.
It
But
wasn't.
did they tease it in 3.0?
I don't remember them
No.
teasing it in
Remember.
3.0.
No,
I
we
don't
didn't know.
remember.
I don't think anyone had any idea TCG was coming until literally
So I
like.
can still have copium for another endgame mode.
I think
I
that
guess
it's
so.
but based on what they said in this stream, because they did mention a couple times in the Fontaine stream that they're like they want to continue to make quote unquote new content for the game, and then they went to talk about diving, but I think that it is potentially like maybe every year or two we'll get like a new sort of game mode of some sort, like of some kind. Like we got housing, we got TCG, and they seem to continue to update those systems and have interest to potentially do more. So I mean,
That's
we'll
true.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We're
What I want
getting.
is something. Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying like, even if we get a new permanent mode, there's a very good chance it's like non-combat related.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think
Oh, yeah.
statistics shows that not many people are actually engaging in endgame combat types of content.
Maybe it's because the Abyss sucks.
Yeah, like there's a good chance. Like I say, I was memeing last time. I think it was with you, Jello. That there's a
Yeah.
higher chance we're gonna get like a Mario
racing
Kart
game.
mode. Yeah,
Yeah.
like than like an actual combat thing. So it's like really, I have no hope for combat.
That stuck with me, Walrus, and I was thinking about that after, and I was thinking as long as I can ride like a child chariot in the overworld, then I'll accept that.
In the overworld.
Yeah.
That's a lot of coding. I don't know if we've been giving them enough money for that.
True. They had enough money to fund 3 games, so there better be
Because
something
I
left
feel
in
like
that
my
bucket.
issue with the TCG is not even with the TCG itself. It's just that I just forget that the TCG exists in the game completely. Like I'm just because it's like it's in a separate mode. There's no reason to interact with it unless you specifically want to play it.
Would you like it if you're in the overworld and then as you run past somebody, there's an exclamation mark that appears above
Yes.
their head. They walk over to you. It's like, let's duel.
Hey, no way.
Hey, bro.
Because I actually really enjoyed that. I don't know if many people did the quest line, but with the girl from I can't remember what her name was, the Aramite girl, and you fight the Aramite guy in a TCG match at like beside the campfire. That was so sick. I was like, yeah, this is awesome, and that because it made it feel connected. But most of the time, I just forget that it even exists because it feels so. So what I would want is like, it doesn't have to be like fully try-hard combat. Something weird and fun with like, I don't know. You get either you can play it like a lot of times for these combat events, I ignore the buffs completely and don't even add them. But like if they had weird fun buffs that you fight bosses with that like changed up the gameplay a lot, and you could either ignore them or you could use them to make it a lot easier. then it would give something that the casuals would enjoy, like some fun, funky mode.
They had
But
something like that
also,
once.
yeah.
They did that. They did that once. They had like a wave-based mode where you could get like Yoimiya with like 200% attack speed or some crap, and it was hilarious. It was so fun. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure everyone loved that event.
So I want something like that that would attract the casuals and like bridge the gap between try-hard combat and casual mode.
That'd be
Alright.
cool. I think the reason why we don't have like integrated stuff or like the teapot is really separate, you just don't need to interact with it. Same with TCG, is I think they're really hesitant about putting players in a position where it's like Genshin is now a trading card game. And
Yeah.
if you don't like that, you now don't like Genshin. Like they don't want people to feel forced to interact with that system. But I do see what you mean, where it's like it's so separate that like you often like if I've been playing Genshin for a long time, I log in and I don't think about TCG. Like I don't think about it at all. It doesn't. It's not put in front of my face unless there's an event.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, we gotta move on to the next topic, guys. So, with the banger story that Sumeru was, I have to know your thoughts on the snippet that we saw of Fontaine's story coming into it. So, what are your expectations for Fontaine's story? What are you hoping to see? And, are your just general thoughts as a whole? And we could start this one off with Jello.
Oh, I think this story is going to be sick. I'm super excited. I think that Genshin they have a really thought out plan for the story, and I thought that their storytelling is just getting better and better. So I think it's going to be great. I just hope that they just make the side quest a little bit less bloated. Like the R&R one is like whatever that version of it is a little bit more fun and less like it just felt like so much lore dump, and I'm like, all I want is for those side quests is for them to focus more on the characters that we have and not random NPCs that I don't care about. I know that's been said to death, but that's what I want. I think the Archon quest is going to be a banger. I just hope that they put more characters into the side quests.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll probably be really good. I'm kind of expecting it to be pretty insular. Like Sumeru had a lot of like Walrus said had a lot of implications for like the bigger lore. And I kind of have a feeling that Fontaine, like Walrus said, will be more insular. It's not gonna have a lot of far-reaching effects in the lore and stuff like that, but I'm sure that they'll develop the nation's lore a lot, and there'll be a lot of juicy, interesting little things to find. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they have not been disappointing. Like every Archon quest that comes out is better, and they've been more thoughtful about integrating characters and stuff like that. Like Sumeru did such a good job with integrating characters in the main story, and I really like that. So I'm excited to see where they go with it. It's always uphill with the story, so it's good.
I think, yeah, lore wise, with most regions, there's the local region lore, and then there's the overarching story lore. For Sumeru, they're talking about like, was it the Sand King? What's his name? The whole
That's right.
locals, yeah, the local story of like the Sumeru history and how things became the way they are now. And then there's the overarching story with the doctor doing like shady stuff like in the background. That's like more about like the whole fighting against Celestia, that stuff, right? So they kind of oftentimes have these two stories somehow interlinked. Fontaine, in my opinion, like storytelling wise, like we're at the point in the story where they need to reintroduce us to other like uh pieces of the story. I think the Arlecchino, damn it, is it Arlecchino,
Arlecchino.
yeah,
Chino.
Arlecchino aspect of the story likely will expose us to maybe a different side of the whole Harbinger organization, whatever. Like that storyline has to keep getting pushed, like because that's like the main one that's gonna tie us, like it's gonna tie all together back together in one full circle in Shizaya. We cannot put a halt to that. But when it comes to the overarching, like the big story, like the stuff, like Fontaine will have their own local story, and I don't think it's gonna be as like integrated to the entire world as the whole Sumeru story was. I think there are
Is
just
there a
nation.
reason you think that?
No, yeah, it's mainly because that I think as a nation for Fontaine, like I think it's more about like I don't know, because they said the whole place is lifted, right? Like they mentioned how the whole water. You guys remember the waterfall thing? They were talking about how the whole region is like lifted up from the rest. They said it
Yeah.
was like 300 meters tall, that
Yeah.
waterfall that we saw in the Fontaine region. So I think Fontaine as a region itself is kind of separate from a lot of the other ones we've interacted with, and I don't think its lore is going to run as deep as the the Sumeru lore. And also it's because it's reflective to our real life society. So if you think like Egypt and stuff like that, like the pyramid, they have a much deeper rooted history as opposed to like countries like France, the European countries and stuff. Right? Like it's just newer, and I don't know if they're gonna reflect that in the story, but they take a lot of inspirations from our history, and they kind of try to run parallels in the story. So I think Fontaine maybe is a more isolated nation in that sense, and then the only driving factor in when it comes to the main lore is gonna be the Arlecchino lore side. Don't get me wrong, Fontaine's lore is gonna be interesting, but I don't think it's gonna be as influential
Here's
to the overall thing.
here's why I think it'll connect to Celestia and will be influential is because she's obsessed with being righteous and the judgment aspect, and she is judging people, and I do think that Celestia's judgment of them will be relevant, and Celestia's judgment of the Archon. They even said in the trailer that the Archon will stand alone or whatever, something like that, at the end of Judgment or something like that, at the beginning of the trailer. And also because it's Fontaine's sort of a parallel to Conria with their technology aspect. So for that reason, I personally do think that it will have to do with Celestia.
If you guys remember back to the prologue, what they said about Fontaine was even like at the end it was like even she knows not to make an enemy of the gods.
Yeah.
So it's like they were saying because every region they had something like Inazuma was something about eternity, like the whole theme. So there are hints. Like so, I think
So I
Fontaine.
think but them saying that enemy of the gods, that's
Yeah, it means
she
she
probably
has
did make an enemy of the gods.
because I think she has rivaling philosophies to Celestia, and because she is like the judge of righteousness or something like she cares about, but like even she knows not to like overstep her boundaries. So I think like when it comes like Focalor seems to be more level-minded than her personality gives off. Like she knows when to screw around and when to kind of draw her boundaries. Right? Like, but that's why they said like even she knows. Like even this person knows not to make an enemy of the gods. So yeah, like I think Fontaine is gonna be interesting. Maybe they're gonna touch on celestial lore because actually we know very little, if like any, about Celestia. Maybe because it seems like the 4.0 Archon Quest, they were saying that we want information from Folklore, but she decided to, okay, you want this information, then we're gonna do it like this. Like she's like, okay, in exchange for what you want, I'll give it to you, but we gotta do it my way. So she definitely have answers, but like we're gonna kind of have to draw it out of her, and I think that's gonna be the dynamic we have throughout the like at least until we befriend her, because Raiden was resistant as well to work with us. So it's just earning the trust of the Archons have become like has been a running theme like across all these nations, except for Nahida. Nahida was just like, oh my god. Yeah, so I mean, still, it's earning her trust, like right, saving her and stuff like that. So same thing with Focalor. Like I said, I just wish like at the very end of the story we have the Archons actually play a role, like major role in like our fight against Celestia.
I think they will.
Yeah, them just like coming in like Avengers Endgame, they just
Yeah, I think they
one
will.
by one. Oh my goodness.
I still think I've said this before, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna hit a point like we'll team up with the Harbingers and it'll be like the
Yeah.
Archons and the Harbingers versus Celestia, and
Yeah,
we'll be
agreed.
yeah
It's gonna be sick as hell.
it should be pretty cool.
Then Paimon's gonna ruin it with one line.
True.
Lay, what about you?
So y'all pretty much said a lot that I was thinking, but I'm gonna keep my expectations extremely low because the last time I had high expectations for a certain cute female character, she kind of got killed. So I'm gonna keep my expectations very low for Miss Harbinger,
You still
just
on
in
this?
case they crush my heart again. Because I don't know what they're gonna do with her. She's either gonna be Signora or Wanderer, and I don't know which one.
Okay, like I have a follow-up question. Would you rather have Arlecchino go through the same process as Wanderer, where like she's kind of like washed new now, she's good, she's like rediscovering herself, she left the Fatui, or do you want her to be like Tartaglia, who is still a part of the Fatui, but like just roaming around doing her own thing? Like which approach would you rather have?
Tartaglia, so she can stay Pyro, because I'm hoping she's Pyro. Because if she's like Wander and she has to get a new vision, I'm gonna be very, very
What if
sad.
she's Geo?
Don't do
Guess I'm
that to me.
quitting.
The only thing worse than making her not playable is making her Geo.
For real.
Look here. I have Navia. I don't need another Geo, okay? And also going with the Archon, you saying, Walrus, that she knows when to not overstep her boundaries. I hope it's the complete opposite, because the whole attraction for me with Nouvelette, the reason why I feel like I'm gonna like him is because I hope he's like, basically telling her like, sit your ass down. Like, no, you're not doing this. I want Nouvelette to be the one that disciplines Focalors. Like, I'll be sad if she can do it on her own. Like, no, I want Nouvelette to be the big mighty judge. Like, hey, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't care if you're the Archon. Like, no, we're not doing
Feels
this.
like that's the dynamic they're going for.
Yeah.
I like. Do you guys know Naruto? Do you guys know? If you know Naruto, I think the dynamic is gonna be more like Hashirama and Tobirama. Like Hashirama is like super freaking strong. Like he's the first Hokage, but he's like so goofy, right? But and that's why Tobirama always bosses him around. Like he's like, sit your ass down, like shut up, like listen, like behave yourself, right? But then when things really hits the fan, like Hashirama will put his foot down and be like, everybody shut the fuck up and listen to me, and then everybody does shut the fuck up. But 90% of the time, it's Tobirama who's telling Hashirama to shut the fuck up and calm down and relax, and like stuff like that. I think that's gonna be the dynamic. Most of the time, he's gonna be in control, but when things really hits the fan, Focalors is gonna rise up and be like, okay, this is still my nation. All right.
Okay, yeah. I just don't want Nouvelette to be a little bitch. Okay, I want Nouvelette to be a very strong, powerful man. Okay, I don't want him to, be bossed around all the time. I want him to be that strong,
Oh yeah, he will be.
For,
he will
for
be
Fontaine.
for sure. Yeah, it's just like his power is limited, right? I mean, even Focalor's power is limited, but I think if it really comes down to needing somebody to like exercise power, I think Focalor has a deeper pit when it comes to like higher limit. So when they really need that power, they're gonna have to rely more so on Focalor than as opposed to Nouvelette. And I'm sure he'll contribute. It's just him is not enough.
A question for y'all. Do y'all think that when they both become playable characters, do you think it'll be kind of similar to where obviously Focalors will almost guaranteed to be better, right? But Nouvelette will kind of be like Alhaitham, to where like if you don't have Nahida, like Nouvelette is Nouvelette's still like a great second option, or you can put them together on the same team, right? Like it'll kind of be like Alhaitham Nahida kind of dynamic.
What if he's the Dia?
In a way, man.
No, that's gonna be ruthlessly.
Don't do
No,
that.
nobody would have thought Dia was like. Listen, if you guys went back to 3.0 and somebody came and it's like, Dia is gonna be a standard banner character, you're gonna get like your teeth punched in.
Well,
you're
at the very beginning, the
punching.
dreams were that she's a 4-star character. So we went through severe whiplash with Dia. It's like she's a 4-star, she's a 4-star, and then all of a sudden, oh, she's actually a 5-star. Oh, but it's a standard banner 5-star. It was the worst.
She was one of the most like hyped characters when we first saw. Like she was insanely well designed. Like I remember in 3.0 when they teased all the characters, people were going crazy for her. They were like, wow, she is like incredible. Just like design wise, she looked amazing.
You want to know
why?
Like
Nouvelette looks incredible, amazing. He's gonna be the standard banner Geo character.
Equals bad.
Do you want to know why? I just don't think they'll. Okay, this is gonna sound wrong, but I'm gonna say it. Why I think they'll never really do that with the limited 5-star male is because they know that most of their player base is mostly waifu. How the hell are you gonna sell a Dia but male? How the fuck are you gonna? It's not possible. Like, he's gonna have negative sales if they do that. They can't afford to do that. They just.
I mean, they did it with Tainari.
Tainari's good though. What the fuck?
They can make him kind of good though.
It's okay.
They can
Yeah,
make
it's
him
okay if
good.
they're. It's okay if it's a good standard banner 5-star. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Like, what if he's the Tainari of Fontaine?
Okay. With that,
No
like,
way.
because he'll still be good.
Tainari's fine. Tainari's good.
I mean,
he's a good character.
But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be ruthlessly.
The thing is this: it seemed, but if I had to guess, Nouvelette seems to play a much bigger role in the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like just due to his major role in the story, he's going to be a limited character.
Was Dia not playing a major role in Sumer? We literally accompanied her through like 60-70% of the story.
Walrus, you don't
huge part.
understand. She has booba. It doesn't matter.
Like, okay, yeah, but like, no, don't get me wrong. I love Dia, but as you know, but Dia at the end of the day wasn't like one of the. Well, she was a key piece, but she wasn't like one of the big key pieces for the whole story.
Like Al-Haytham was barely in the story. Like I mean, he was kind of there, but Dia played a much bigger role in the story. I mean, wait, Al-Haytham probably spent the same amount of time with us as what's her name? The Hydro Spear Shield lady. I
Candace.
forgot her name.
Candace.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think right, and then Sino was kind of there as well, here and there. Like he joined us for a little bit, but Dia was pretty much like with us. Like she was so involved, which hurts even more because you're so attached to her, right?
True, but I mean, like, Al-Haytham. I mean, like, in the terms of like Sino and Al-Haytham, like if you just look at them importance to the story wise, right? Like Al-Haytham was the General Mahamatra. Dia was kind of just like a random mercenary that we ran into along the way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I see.
And
Yeah,
then
that makes
Al-Haytham, he
sense.
was a scribe for the academia. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that none of them could have ended up being a standard character. But we can't control that, right? But they did play like very important roles throughout the story, like very key roles. Like we would have never gotten into the, the head office of the academia if we didn't have Al-Haytham to like walk us through there. And also we had
That's
General
true.
Mahamatra to get us through the gates of Sumeru when we were, basically wanted.
Yes.
So like,
You're right. Like when it comes to actual story, I mean character power levels,
yeah,
it seems like they scale to their importance within the nation as opposed to how like relevant they are to the story.
yeah.
Like, but their roles in the nation are. But then again, the General Mahamatra is
Yeah,
like
Sino should have been a bit more broken.
yeah,
he
DPS
should've
wise,
been.
it's like I mean,
He
there's I
should've
know a
been.
Liyue chef, like a 16-year-old Liyue chef who
Yeah,
who
I
deals
feel
quite
like
a lot
that's
of damage.
not. I feel like they don't care about the lore power versus except for the Archons. They don't.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
we can't control it. At the end of the day, Hoyoverse is gonna do what they want to do. So we can just sit here and try to come up with
True
theories.
Yeah, but not talking about power level, it's whatever. Nouvelet sucks, he sucks power level wise, right? But I want, in terms of the story, I really want Nouvelet to be the strong man that is like a rock for Fontaine. That's all I ask for. I want him to have a dominant presence in the story.
Ningguang's a 4-star, so
Yeah, I was about
Nouvelet's
to
not
say, I
safe.
feel bad for Ningguang. She got cheated. That's all there is to it. She got cheated. But anyway, since we already kind of went into the next topic, and Lay already talked about his favorite character for Fontaine, who is your guys' favorite character for Fontaine coming up?
Also, Lord.
Lore. I can understand that. She seems like she's going to be a really fun character.
Yeah, I like her English voice actor so damn much. Like how
It's
she
so good.
delivers her line, it's so
It's
good. Like
so
it
good.
fits it so well.
It's so good.
The one thing I'm really interested in, because every Archon, every 2 Archons that we've gotten, they kind of have some kind of like parallel with how they kind of govern their nation. You know what I mean? With Venti, he was freedom, and he let his people basically run around and do what they wanted. But at the end of the day, he helped them out. Zhongli, he governed his people the whole time, and then he was like, okay, it's time for me to see if they can actually do it for themselves and step back. At the end of the day, they kind of, ended up on that same route where they,
Raiden was kind of the opposite.
yeah, but Raiden Nahida, she was so busy with basically taking care of herself and like her people. Raiden and Nahida have kind of an interesting dualism, because in Nahida's case, it was the people ruling and not wanting anything to do with her, right? But in Raiden's case is that she was ruling, but she basically did nothing with her people because she was chasing this eternity.
Hey, final?
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption. There's a Flip content creator. He's asking, is it too late to join, or do we just
Bring him in. I ain't
Bring him
sure.
in?
I'm always down for more people.
let me get him?
I'm gonna go grab some water.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
But anyway,
Sorry, yeah.
I went into the dualism and everything, but I'm really interested to see if they're going to continue that kind of trope with Focalor and possibly Natlin, because that will be a really interesting thing to see. Kind of like how these guys govern differently, but then kind of end up in the same place. Because even in the case of Raiden and Nahida, eventually they ended up, okay, we're gonna rule our nations. You know, 2 Archons that are actually like ruling their nations, and now we're actually coming into a nation where, like, this Archon is ruling, and it doesn't seem, at least at first, that there's any real major issues. We've heard things from like people on the outside, but we haven't really heard anything from people on the inside about Focalors being like really a bad Archon. So it's going to be kind of interesting seeing this new dynamic in how an Archon governs their nation. Because we've seen 2 Archons that have basically given their people free reigns, 2 Archons that had, well, 2 Archons that were kind of present, but they weren't really ruling. You know what I mean? And now we have Focalors, who's actually doing her thing, you know? So I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic to finally see.
With all the regions shown, I just gotta say, I am not living anywhere outside of Liyue. And Liyue's real estate better be bussin', because that's like the only bearable nation. It's insane how like dystopic some of these places are to actually try to survive in. I don't know. Liyue seems like heaven on earth in comparison to some of the other regions. Holy crap! I mean, I might be saying that because I'm biased. I'm not like Chinese or something like that. But honestly, like Zhongli seems like a fair Archon, and he does what needs to be done. But he doesn't like rule with an iron fist. He's not like too young, and then he's not abused by the people, right? For his power and strength, he has vision, meaning like he's seeing farther than just today or tomorrow, and he's actively doing things to make sure like the best course of action is taken. And
Well, not anymore.
I mean, we don't know that, right? Maybe what he's done is just he sees so far that he's doing things that's incomprehensible. Like we were talking, the fact he willingly gave up his gnosis without even putting up a fight. Like it just seems like there's much more to that than what we even are capable of knowing right now. He has a tight lip as well. Like he didn't say shit, and he's hella old. He's been through all the shit. Like,
he is been through all.
Yeah, so I think Liyue is just the best nation.
Okay. Anyway,
to live in.
Jello, favorite character upcoming for Fontaine?
By far, Chlorine. It's not close.
Yeah, he knows.
Electro is my favorite element. The tall female is my favorite body type. Sword is my favorite weapon, and she looks badass in the trailer. She looks awesome, and she's very attractive. So she kind of looks like Raiden, but bit of a classier outfit. I don't know. It looks like, which I like both. There's a chance for if she's really, really good and she's really, really fun, you know, she could even contest my favorite character. But she does have to be good and fun. Raiden is all those things. So yeah, for me, like I try and just like personality of a character and just like their visuals, but the strength and the fun gameplay really does affect how much I like a character over time.
No,
so
that's 100% fair. I think that's 100% fair.
But I do also really hope for that Navia is a good Geo unit.
Well, you guys got a Geo Claymore, another one. We'll see how that goes. See how that goes. But for me, Florinda is pretty baller. But Arlecchino, if she's Pyro, that's the key. If she is Pyro, she'll be perfect. Because she's so far my favorite Fatui Harbinger. I love her backstory, or supposed backstory, from what we've been reading. We'll learn more once, we get into Fontaine and interact with her more and see what she's really about. But I think that if she does end up being playable and she does end up being Pyro, no contest. She's probably going to be one of my favorite Pyro characters. Well, one of my favorite characters in the game. I love her visual designs. The fact that she's there's so much cool stuff about her. I can't even express it all. And I can't wait to learn more about her. So I'm really looking forward to her. And awesome. So we got Flip.
Hello.
Welcome. Let me change this up.
Welcome.
So Flip, favorite character for the upcoming Fontaine patch?
I'll try to hold back my.
Oh,
simping,
not
but
patch.
it's
Sorry,
without-
for Fontaine, not the patch. The whole.
I'll try to hold back my simping, but it's without a doubt Farina or Fossilors.
Ooh.
She's by far my
I mean,
favorite.
look at his display photo.
Yeah.
He's down. Flip is down bad. He's in my Discord server. He's really down bad.
Okay, leave me alone. You can't blame me. I know. I think she's very cute, and being an Archon, there's no way they make her bad. Okay, because I'm a Eula main, and
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
so
brother.
I'm hoping.
Amen.
My
I'm hoping
deepest
they
condolences.
butcher her.
There's
That's
no
not-
way
that's
they
what
butcher an
that's what-
Archon
no.
at this stage in the game. There's no way they butcher an Archon.
Yeah, they know better.
Considering how overtuned Nahida was.
The only thing I
Hopefully.
could see is that they make her underpowered at C0 and really, really, really busted at C2. Just because that's
I'm
been
getting-
working so well.
It has been. So, Flo, real quick, favorite upcoming character from Fontaine that you're looking forward to?
So what's that guy's name again? The one you guys are talking about a lot.
Nuvalet. Nuvalet.
Nuvalet? Yeah. His design, I really like his design. If he's one of those like no BS characters, there's like never
Yes,
jokes,
bro.
he's never
Yeah.
funny. Just like that would be so great. I would love that. And then the parasol girl, I don't know her name either.
Navia.
Oh, Navia.
Navia. Yeah, I like her design a lot, and I think she's got the potential to have like a pretty interesting personality. So those two probably the ones I'm looking most forward to.
Okay.
I
So-
feel so cheated
Why do you feel cheated?
because you just assumed that my favorite character was Nuvalet.
I mean, all you do is talk about him.
No, he's not. He's my second favorite.
Well, who's your favorite?
Navia.
Oh my god.
Looking
just
forward
want-
to Navia.
He just wants
Wait,
the
you were talking-
Geo characters.
Well, I don't. I hate Geo. Don't get me wrong. I hate Geo as an element, but I like some of the characters within, and I really like Navia's design.
This way, Nuvalet, it's gonna be a Geo 4-star support for Navia. Listen, I've seen what Hoyoverse likes to do. The more popular a character, you guys can't deny this. The more popular a character is, the more Hoyoverse realize they don't need to do anything to sell these characters. The less incentivized they are to make these characters actually good characters. It's the characters that almost never appears, and then they'll like maybe a patch before they'll do some drip marketing for it. Those are the ones you really gotta watch out for. Like Yelan, tell me where in hell did Yelan just come from story
She
wise?
just existed, actually.
Yeah, like she just suddenly came literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Became, like just yoinked the spot of best character in the game and like sat on that throne till today. And then there's like Dia, who's literally like people were like frothing
So
at
hyped
the
for her.
mouth, just thinking about her, right? And then when the day finally came, they're like, "Hey." Same with Yaimiko. They teased her like multiple patches before, and then like when the
you could
time
also
comes-
say that part of it is the expectation though. Like the more people see the character, the more they're gonna expect them to be like really OP or just have some really insane kit. And then like at the end of the day, all the characters are pretty simple. Like they have pretty basic kits. Like if they're not a hyper carry, they're not gonna be doing like a lot. And so I think people just tend to be disappointed overall whenever they have high expectations for a character.
But it's also like if you think of Kazuha, he kind of appeared the same way.
Yeah,
Yelan
no, you're
did.
right though. There is a pattern with that. You're right. You're
You think-
absolutely right.
I would say Nilu is probably the strongest 5-star from Sumeru aside from Nahida, the Archon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but where did Nilu come from?
Would you
Also-
call her? Yeah. Were people excited? I don't actually know. Like, were people like she was one of my most hyped characters
She was
for
middle ground.
Sumeru, but was she not for most people?
She was middle ground.
The
Like, she
thing is
wasn't
this,
that
she-
overhyped.
She didn't have much hype upon release, but after
I guess
time
I'm not
proceeded,
talking. Yeah, I'm not talking about really her release, but like her actual like what Walrus is saying, kind of like the characters that people were looking forward to because of lore or design.
She was not.
Those
no.
ones are kind of okay. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
also,
that trend, you could argue that trend continues with Nilu as well.
yeah,
then.
the more they're involved with the story, like the less powerful they are. It seems like because what did Nilu do in the story? Like she was there
She
literally
danced
for
one
for-
time.
yeah,
That's
she danced-
so
Yeah, I
funny.
hate-
like,
Oh my
and she's
God.
so broken.
Yeah,
Holy,
but what about Alhaitham though? Alhaitham's quite good, and he had like a good story presence.
he did.
like he had decent story presence. Like he wasn't like super involved, but he was there. Like yeah, I'll give you that. But that's why he's not the best. It's Nilu, it's Nahida, Nilu, and then Alhaitham.
It's kind of honestly, Waller's kind of got a point there. It's kind of all the best characters are kind of, aside from Archons, are like sleepers.
Yeah, literally, you would hope
I
Nuvalet never
okay.
fucking shows up anywhere
I'm
in the story. And you
I'm
would be
sorry.
like, yeah, let's go, baby.
I'm sorry. But dang, I didn't want this to go into like a full blown meta take, but Nilu in her right situations, she is better than Alhaitham, but overall Alhaitham is better in more situations because if it's not the right scenario for Nilu, she fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's yeah, Nilu is situational. Alhaitham's more consistent.
Yes,
But like at the peak, Nilu is better. Alhaitham is just
So you
too...
did the worm? You did the worm with Nilu?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to see that VOD. Please show me.
Hey yo.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm fully convinced that this is kind of a trend. Because the reason I say this is not just like me coming up with random stuff. It's mainly because Hoyoverse uses the lore and the story to sell character, like how hyped you are for the characters. You get attached to them, emotionally attached, and it's gonna lead to you pulling for them. So they don't need to do the drip market. Like, I mean, they'll have some. I mean, really, look at Dia's demo. You cannot tell me they put in the same effort to Dia's demo as they did some of the other characters that are lesser known. Like Nilu's demo was beautiful, but it's also because she won't have many opportunities to present herself to us, to connect with us, whereas you're literally stuck with Dia for like 4 patches of the Archon quest. So it's just like that's just how it is. I think that they're just doing it like that because it just works out like it's so perfect. And you know what, another thing is, the more sleeper they are, the more likely people are going to skip them on the first banner, and the better they're going to sell on reruns. So they'll have these characters continuously selling for 2-3 reruns, guaranteed to sell. And then while the other characters, they can get a pretty good chunk off of the first one, right? Because they're so hype, people are going to pull for them, and then they will not rerun them for a long time to drive FOMO, essentially. For those who really like the character design and stuff, like, they're going to drive up the FOMO. And then the other one is the opposite. It's they make you regret not polling for it, so then they'll sell you the reruns. It's part of the business how they do this, and it's worked spectacularly to balance sales.
There's one character that didn't follow that, and till this day is still very strong and was extremely hyped. Hu Tao. She was extremely hyped, and she's very strong.
Hu Tao
But
actually...
she didn't have any story
Yeah,
presence.
I was about to say she
Yeah.
kind of just popped out of nowhere. She was hyped
did.
because of
I mean,
this
she
mostly.
literally popped out of nowhere. They didn't even announce her.
She really did.
Everybody thought I was capping when I said she was coming out. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, because they did the Kaching thing. They run a Kaching banner for 2 weeks, and after
Yeah.
that, it was just Hu Tao.
Yeah.
They
But
didn't even show her in like the version trailer either.
no, they
Like
didn't.
legit, there was
Like,
there was.
but we
nothing
know
for her.
why
Yeah.
they did that. It was because of the
Yeah.
whole Chinese New Year, and they don't want to associate, Hu Tao
With
with.
death and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But
Mhm.
she did just show up out of nowhere. That's a fact. But yeah.
That's
Anyway,
funny.
Walrus, you got yourself a good theory there.
Oh no, there's only one character, and he's been in the side to my theory. Like, I fucking hate it every time. I'm surprised nobody brought him up. It's Tartaglia. The man is literally the most involved
True.
side character in the game, and he is insanely good, even
That's
by
true.
nowadays standards. He's
That's
the
true.
only
That's true.
character that breaks this mold, and I hope, you see, the beauty is he's the Fatui agent. He's supposed to break the norm. That's why Arlecchino, if she stays as a Fatui, she might just be the
Oh.
next big thing. I'm
I
telling you
see
guys.
what you're
But if she
saying.
gets reformed, then she's in trouble.
Yeah, like if it's
She'll
Wanderer,
need-
then she's screwed. She's screwed.
Yeah.
But if she
She'll
stays
need
as a
her
Fatui,
C6. She'll need her C6 baby character. You'll have to get a C6 baby.
But
Yeah.
what if Nuvalet has her in trial and he puts his thumb down and they kill her? Tragic.
What?
Hey, yo, what?
What?
She ain't going out like that.
Hoyoverse is gonna have to, like, Dawei is gonna need like armor truck transportation.
Yeah, if he takes her out like that, no, you're gonna have to come in with some super elaborate way to take her out.
Okay, speaking
Okay,
of
so-
which, do you guys like hate when they redeem characters?
Yeah.
The thing
Yeah.
is this though, like, okay, Wanderer, right? He kind of got redeemed, but he's still a dick
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
I mean,
right?
they have to
He
wipe
is a-
his memory and then
Yeah.
give it back to him.
Yeah, we gave it back to him, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still the same guy. He just rewrote basically history.
I think that I wouldn't have liked it if it felt forced, but it actually felt kind of good. Like it was a good story. I don't know. Since because it was a good story, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Wanderer is the literal embodiment of those Americans Got Talent thing, and then they got to tell their sob story to make up points for their lack of talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I was abandoned at birth, and then like I had to live my life under a bridge, and they say this stuff to like, and that's Wanderer. Like he did all this horrible stuff, and then like you find out, oh my god, he was abandoned at birth, and he was manipulated to join the Fratria, and he's still discovering himself, and like he just wanted to be loved. Like, oh my god, like wait. That's like how I felt. It was kind of like manipulative. I was like, wait a minute, why are you making me feel this way about this character that I didn't really like?
True.
Yeah, sure.
Like the thing I hated the most is that they had to like erase every single bad thing Wanderer has done. So like it's not like he was ever forgiven for what he did. They just moved on from it, like it just never happened. Only like the characters that didn't really care in the first place remember. And I just don't like that really.
You know what? That's actually true. Because I keep sitting here talking about how he killed people, but if he changed history with Irminsul and the memories of everything, that means he never did any of the stuff that he did in the past.
So yeah, it was just a massive rewrite, and
it's a rewrite.
It feels weird.
You see,
But
the
here's the
reason you
thing.
guys.
But here's the thing: is the thing is that because of the greater implications that other people may have rewritten history, and like the Boar Princess and like different books show that there were other rewrites of the world before that. It's kind of a show don't tell thing where they really show that other people might have done that, and that it might get a bigger payoff down the road. That's why I don't mind it, because it's part of the overall lore, and it could end up being really, really cool.
And I mean, for Jello, to ask you, how much of your original distaste and dislike for Wanderer kind of got shifted to Dotori once you figured out like that guy was really the ones pulling the strings behind it? I feel like a lot of people were able to forgive Wanderer and move on because of Dotori's involvement.
Scapegoat kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, and that's why they're okay. You know what, Wanderer, we're okay with you, but Dotori, goddamn, like, man, dude, okay. And they did kind of kill him. Well, he kind of killed. He kind of unalived part of himself, and I don't know if that's like payoff enough for people. But he's like Dotori is like the really like evil presence behind the scenes. It feels like he's like the puppet master almost.
Sure.
He's done a lot. But
At this point, I'm scared for Dotori. Like he might be very good manipulative, but I mean Dawe is got a full
To this
control.
day, the thing I hate, the thing I've hated about Wanderer, and the thing I still hate about Wanderer has never changed, and it's his shorts and hair.
Okay.
Some emotional damage.
I kind of like Wanderer's design.
I do feel
Going
like
after
it
his
was
barber.
a bit of a cop out though, having Nahida deal with a lot of the Wanderer BS. I feel like a lot of that should have been handled in Inazuma personally, especially with his ties to Raiden.
I would have liked to see a confrontation with Raiden.
Yeah,
Maybe they're saving it.
yeah. There's a chance that we could still see that, but
Wait.
well,
So
then
you
maybe
you wanted to see Raiden with a chancla and smack the shit out of him?
whatever it takes,
I just
man.
want to see them get together. That's a loaded gun.
I mean, it's one of the interactions we've been begging to see. I mean, it's just like how we wanted to see Archons finally interact in the game. Like, we finally got to see that with Zhongli and Venti, if you didn't miss it. We finally got to see that interaction. Or, like, Klee and Yoimiya, like, we saw that. Like, there's interactions within the world of Genshin that players want to see. And I feel like Scaramouche and Raiden is one of the big ones. So that's something they definitely have to do in the future.
I have to go really soon, but I was just curious because we figured out Walrus cracked an actual pattern that the Hoyoverse has made. Can we infer anything about the characters coming up as to which one's going to be OP based on which one is being slept on the most? Like, we agreed that Nilou last time was a little bit slept on. Like, who out of the revealed characters seems like they could be the OP one?
I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Jello, but Chlorine seems to be taking a lot of screen time.
Okay, Navia's gone. Like, Navia's actually gone at this point, isn't she?
People
Navia
are
is actually in the 4.0
Yeah,
trailer.
she's playing.
I think
yeah.
people are hyped for Navia. Like I saw, like Asmongold was most hyped for Navia out of anyone, and he's like the epitome of a Genshin onlooker.
That dude in the black fur coat and the little girl next to him
Riothusly.
Yeah,
has
Riothusly.
been
He's not gonna be in
very
4.0, it
quiet.
seems.
Those
He's
guys
ve-
are not going to be good. There's no way.
No,
There's
no. They've
actually
been
zero
real
chance.
quiet. They're very quiet right now. I'm saying, Jello, if this pattern sticks, those two seems to be the sleepers
I
so
don't see
far.
I think
it.
your
They show
pattern
up out
might
of
break.
nowhere.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Like I always say this stuff in my videos, and then like a year later things happen. I'm always trying to grab people's attention. Look, what did I say? But listen, I got all 5 of you guys here. You guys heard this here first.
So your
before the
call,
pattern
you're
even dropped.
saying Rayosely and little
Bunny.
bunny
Whatever his name
girl
No,
are the
no.
OP ones?
No, we gotta look. We gotta wait until after the Archon quest.
We have
is
to see
over.
the story.
You gotta see which of them got involved the least, and
I
then
see.
Okay,
there's a good
so-
chance those ones are the really good ones.
Here's what we do. You time the screen time. You add it all together, and then you
Oh, man.
compare it. And what? That's it. That's the
And it's
tier
co-
list.
And you combine it with the community hype.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
like how much
You can also just
engagement they
combo
got on
those
Twitter
ones.
posts. You go to Twitter, just go to Twitter and see their engagement on Twitter, like how many
I think we
likes.
cracked the code. I think this is the algorithm. This is what they
I'm
do.
ready for it. We have to do
Really?
this. For
Hey, sorry, interrupting. Jelly, you said you gotta leave soon, so could you quickly give us your Hydro Archon expectations? Because that's what's next, and then
Oh.
you know.
I there were early leaks or dreams about something like this, but usually those are wrong anyways. But based on the artifact set and based on the free to play craftable weapons that require healing, I think she's going to have HP manipulation, like taking away HP from your team, and or bringing. I don't think she'll be healing. I think she'll be taking away HP from your team, and I think she's going to be an on-fielder.
An on-fielder, like a
Like she
DPS?
sucks away HP from your team to do more damage.
That's
would
what
be
I
kinda-
think.
That'd
That's
be
what I
kind of
think.
interesting.
That's
That's a new
actually kinda-
mechanic that they
that's
haven't really
actually-
explored.
So my thing is this: do you think she's going to be? So you know how Nahida was pretty core to quite a few of the Sumeru characters' playstyle.
I don't think it's going to be that way at all with her. For me personally,
Okay.
my prediction is she'll be more like Raiden, where she has a best team that supports her.
Okay.
I think that she'll be an on-fielder, and that she'll be really good, but I don't think that. I think she'll maybe have some utility, kind of like Raiden has some utility outside of being an on-fielder, but I think that primarily you'll run other characters to support her.
Mm.
Because I think Nahida was different because she's a brand new element, but there's already so many Hydro characters and so many support Hydro characters.
Mm.
I think they need an on-fielder.
That's something else I want to ask you guys. So with Full Solar coming in, the Hydro Archon, and Hydro arguably being the best element in the game.
Arguably.
Hey,
It
some
is.
people still argue.
It is.
Some people still argue.
Nah, bro. Nah,
Some
it
people
is.
still
There's
argue.
nothing better.
Hey man, it's not like I'm out. It's not like I'm out here saying Pyro's the best. I know we're down there with fucking Geo, so don't leave me alone, okay? I ain't trying to fight you. So, anyway, arguably the best element. Do you think she
Really that
has
hill?
stiff competition coming into the game, or do you think
No,
that she's just going to
Yes.
crush them all beneath her feet?
No, not possible.
She
The
won't
two best
crush
characters
them.
in the game are Hydro.
She won't
Mm.
crush them, but I'm telling, bro, there's no way in hell they're gonna release a bad Archon. From here
That
on
won't
out,
be
there's
bad.
no way in hell.
But
But to say that she'll be the best Hydro is saying that she'll be the best character in the game.
I think she'll
Yeah.
be the best Hydro at C2, like they've done with the other
Sure,
Archons.
I agree with that.
I'm
I think
100%
she'll-
getting her C2.
I think she'll 100% be the best Hydro in the game at C2.
Okay.
When
I'm
Flip
about-
gets his C2, I have to get C2 Raiden. There's just no way.
So
I'm about to
yeah,
pull
go
a
on.
stat out here because I know Flip is gonna be like just rolling his eyes because okay, I know there's a difference between usage rates meta
Okay, I have to
wise.
go.
All right, man.
What people
Oh,
like
no.
to
I'm so-
use, right, meta wise versus strong characters. I know there's a very clear like separation between those two, right? And I know usage rate is it's going to be like a skewed metric.
Mhm.
However, if we're talking strictly about the Hydro Archon's usage rate, I think like here's the problem right now is if she is not going to have good synergy with Dendro, she might be in a bit of trouble because right now Raiden Shogun has limited interaction with Dendro. She could and she couldn't. She has two teams, but usage rate wise, she's oftentimes still used more in Raiden National, right? Usage
Yeah.
rate wise. However, when it comes to False Lore, I would hope, like this is my expectation, I would hope she has access to all the Hydro reactions. As an Archon, I don't want to see limitations for her in Freeze. Like, oh, she can only play in like these two reactions because they make characters like that.
They do.
There are like characters that are strictly, let's say, in Freeze, but they can't work in other. There are characters that work strictly in like Aggravate. Like a good one are Electro characters. They strictly work with Aggravate, but not like Spread.
Mm.
It's just like I don't want to see the Hydro Archon have strict limitations to only have certain Hydro reaction teams.
Okay.
And she's going to have to rival Nahida because the metric I use right now are like CN usage rate. Right now, Nahida in CN has been back to back over 90% use. It's insane how much like meta slaves in China love Nahida, and it's just like the best options. Part of the best options we have right now when it comes to fast and efficient clears. And False Lore, she's either going to be like if she's going to be like how Yellow was saying, then she's going to be a tier below Nahida. Like there will be patches where she's really, really good, really reliable, and there will definitely be patches where she's slightly less reliable, and Nahida's still going to reign supreme. And that might be a problem for Hoyoverse to drive hype and excitement and sales for Full Soul. Because it's like, oh, why not just pull Nahida? She's insane. She's still 90% or 80-something%, right? In usage rate. But of course, we know like when actuality, strength-wise, it's a whole different discussion. But that's my expectation. I want her to be more supportive. I would like, but expectations and what I want are also two separate things. But I would really love her to just be this perfect Hydro unit. That's you can use her in like Freeze, you can use her in Vaporize, you can use her in Hyper Bloom, you can use her in Crystallize. Crystallize. she saves Crystallize at least for Hydro. No, I mean like yeah. That's how I would love for this character to be, and then I can just never ever pull a Hydro unit ever again. Do you think Hoyoverse is gonna do that for us?
Hopefully. I mean, like with Nahida, you never have to pull another Dendro unit.
That's true.
Yes,
That's true actually.
And also, I think a lot of things people are overlooking are the Pneuma Osai, however you say them.
Mhm.
Those mechanics.
the light and dark.
Light and dark.
Yeah, light and dark. Let's call it that because if the mechanics are very like vital to the enemies, and then Furina is the only way to like consistently apply both of them and debuff enemies that way. Her usage rate is just going to be like innately high just because of that.
But the thing is
That's what I
this
was gonna
though,
say.
that's gonna be pertaining to like Fontaine enemies, right? Because we don't even know if that Numa is gonna work on enemies outside of that region. You know what I mean? So wouldn't that just make her like superficially strong for all of 4.0, you know, the 4 point whatever chapter, but then the moment we go to Natlan, she loses a good chunk of her strength?
Okay, but yeah, it's either that or they make her like the uncontested best character in the game. So it's very I don't know what I'd do if I was Hoyoverse.
The thing is this, I would definitely hope that they would bank in her long-term success instead of like instant success with, you know, the Fontaine region and the Fontaine enemies, because we know we're going to see them. We're going to see them in the Abyss. We're going to fight them all over the exploration. Like, we're going to see a bunch of them. You know what I mean? So, for that period where we're staying in Fontaine, she's going to be insane if, like, they focus hardcore around that factor of her. And don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be important for her. It should be important. She should be able to use both, you know? But I want that to be more of like a gimmick and not part of her like core overall gameplay. Because the thing is that I don't want to leave Fontaine, like, well, leave that area of the story, and then, you know, we're getting Natlan enemies, and then I'm like still trying to depend on that.
Yeah, it's a catch-22 for real, because like if they make the mechanic just a gimmick, it's just a gimmick and it's annoying and it's stupid. But if they make it more than just a gimmick, then it's more than just a gimmick, and it's annoying and it's stupid. So I hate this stupid light and dark Numa thing. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
It feels like the game's becoming more like Honkai Impact, which I don't like, where you need specific characters for specific things.
That's true. I mean, right now we don't know the extent of the light and dark system yet. We'll know soon, but we don't know the extent of how far
Well, like
it'll
3
reach.
days.
Yeah, in a few days we'll have an idea, and then later patches we'll see if it's like stupid important for defeating certain enemies. And don't get me wrong, I'm expecting it to be able to help us speed up the process for defeating enemies in the future that will release in Fontaine. It would make sense, it's kind of like we were saying. I don't know how much of this you caught, but we were talking about like the Aeon Blight Drake. You bring a bow so you can take him out of the sky, or you're just gonna be sitting there looking at this dude for a while. You know what I mean? So,
But
yeah, go.
No, I'm just gonna meme. You can just get Wander and fly up to him and attack him like that.
Yeah, that's true. There are a few workarounds. You know what I mean? So there are some nice workarounds, and that's
They
what I'm
are
hoping.
limited 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
That's the limited 5 stars that you gotta pull to have that advantage.
True.
And that they're gonna do that same thing in Fontaine. Hey, you want to fight against this enemy that's very weird and annoying? Why don't you pull this character to deal with that? Right?
Mhm.
And then they would love it. Like, okay, pull them, then we have no problems.
Yeah.
That's how they designed the game. They love it.
True.
They what's that say? Like they design solutions and then they design problems to sell you the solution.
Solution. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like I was saying, I just don't want her to I don't want that part of her kit to be the biggest selling point. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want the core that we will actually be playing with for years to come, even when we're outside of Fontaine and not dealing with that energy, that system the light and dark system anymore. That's what I want her to be solid in. If she's solid in that, I'm happy. And then she just has that perk of that, light and dark system being able to proc both by herself. That's a W for me, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's me. Yeah, anybody else have thoughts on the Hydra Archon? What you're hoping for, expectations?
Yes. Other than me really thinking that she'll probably be the definitive best Hydra in the game at C2, because they're scummy like that with the Archons.
Yeah.
I'm with Walrus, and I'm really, really hoping that she can be played in multiple teams. That way she can have that longevity. Because if we ever go through a dry patch where Freeze has sucked like 3 patches in a row, but her best team is Freeze, that's gonna fucking suck. But if we ever go through a patch where you really don't want to bring Pyro, but her best team is Vaporize, well, guess what? That's gonna fucking suck. So I really want her to have team flexibility.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, it's water. It should be flexible, right?
Tell that to Candace.
Oh my god, don't bring up Candace.
hey, hush.
That was one of my biggest disappointments ever. I was looking forward to her. Oh, it was just like Dia, man. It was like...
Yeah. But the Hydra Archon does actually... I'm not going to say she will, but she does actually have the potential to become the best character in the game just because she's fucking Hydra. She has the
I hope she
potential.
is.
Yeah. No, she does have she has a lot of potential.
I'm hoping Nubalet is not too far behind.
That's fair.
They just make him a Shenhe.
All right.
Hydro shit, huh?
So
Would the Hydra Shenhe be good?
Hydro Shenhe, huh?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Wait,
it depends.
Not on Bloom teams.
I guess it would
Yeah,
depend,
wait.
yeah.
Ayato mains would be winning.
That's true.
True.
But you gotta be careful
I
with
mean,
that.
Tartaglia is just the man is
Yeah.
just always catching W's left and
He
right.
is catching W's. Oh, anyway, I want to change up the topic order a little bit. I'm going to tweak it real quick. So I want to just do a quick open discussion over any topics that we may not have covered that you guys want to discuss. If you guys have anything you want to bring up, feel free. Floor is open right now. So
Can we really quickly get Flip? Can you give us a quick summary because you got in her late? Can you give us a quick summary on how you feel about the exploration being half underwater?
Yeah, okay. Because the thing is that underwater mechanics in a lot of games usually are just not good. So like it depends on what Hoyoverse is really trying to do with the underwater exploration. Are they trying to make it like a deep immersive system in which like it has multiple layers and is like because the overworld exploration in Genshin is quite limited with the puzzles. So I don't think there's gonna be a good way for them to make the underwater exploration that good, and that's why I'm kind of like it's just really scary. And also underwater movement in general is like feels horrible. So I don't know. I'm just really scared for it. We'll see.
You know what's gonna suck?
What?
When they make fucking Fiorina have like a fucking her skill like moves super fast underwater, and her C1 gives her 2 things of that skill, so she's gonna be the underwater fucking Yalan.
That would be great.
But if you don't pull her, then it's like that doesn't matter.
But everybody
Yeah.
pulls the Archon, right? Right?
I'm still yet to pull Nahida.
Wait,
That's a
really?
shame on you.
Really?
I don't
Flip?
like Nahida.
Ain't no
I don't
way.
like Nahida.
How do you hear the
I
inner
hate
thoughts
her.
of the NPCs?
Yeah.
You gotta read their minds with her
Literally,
skill.
we're
That's a
missing
huge
bonus
part of
dialogue.
content.
The NPCs for a reason.
Yeah, but you're missing bonus dialogue from like even like the main
Yeah,
characters.
the
Come on.
lore.
I don't read anyways. The fuck.
Hey.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Don't tell
played
me
the
you
wrong
pay people
game.
to play your game.
Okay. I don't pay people to play my game. I just skip over everything.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
I make them do it for free.
Oh no.
He's not even
You
paying
need to
them.
get on that. You need to get on that Lay 7 subscription service. He's running a business, right?
Yeah, you don't know Flip, but I have people who play the game for me. I just slide them a check.
Ain't no way. Oh.
I should do that.
I
Why
refuse
GoPro?
to explore. I'm
This
sorry.
man
I
is about to
refuse.
start a whole business.
I refuse to explore.
Yeah, Flip. Imagine you go to bed and wake up with 100% cleared with all the Primo Gems rewards in a sub-region, and now you can go back with all the waypoints like accessible to you, and you can go see whatever you want, do whatever you want.
One of my friends actually did that for me.
It's amazing, isn't it?
They finished all of my Monster, all of my Leeway, and all of my Inazuma, and did all my hangouts.
Hey, yo,
Just
hold
because
on.
they were bored.
That's a friend I need.
They also got the catch for me, yeah. It was wild.
What? The catch?
Yeah,
No,
they
that's
fished for, like,
too
3
much.
days
I'm
together.
sorry, that's too much.
Nah, there's more. There's more now. There's the pipe weapon. That
Oh,
that weapon's gonna be
yeah.
Oh my God.
hella busted. That's
That is
that
coming
another
out.
spear weapon? What was
It's
that
a
weapon?
It's a
sword.
sword.
Oh, it's a
it's a
sword.
sword, yeah.
What? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's a pipe
It's gonna be the
sword.
most broken ass sword in the region. Best
Wait,
4
do we know
star
what it
weapon.
does?
You know nobody talks
I have
about
no
that
idea.
fish bow from
The
Sumeru.
Sea Lord?
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
fish bow, the
No,
swordfish
it's a
bow.
Oh.
The
For
swordfish
fishing.
boat. I
Oh,
actually
what?
don't know what that does
Yeah,
either.
nobody knows because nobody cares about it from Sumeru.
Did no one get it?
I mean, I
No,
got
no.
the first copy, and that was
I don't have
it. I never finished
I
it.
thought it was from an event.
No, you just fish. It's just like the
It's from
catch.
fishing? Oh
Yeah.
my god.
It's just like the catch.
Wait, it's like
That-
the same. You just fish, get a
You
bunch
just
of fish,
fish.
and then...
That's it.
Wow, what an engaging mechanic.
Like even theory crafters forgot about it, probably.
Yeah.
Oh my
Nobody
God.
talks about it.
I mean, is it good?
It's not good, but nobody talks about it.
I see. They
Yeah,
got
I
you.
figured.
They got you with the catch, and then the second one is just absolute dookies.
Yeah.
I mean, then what's the third one gonna be?
I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe because nobody went to get the bow, they might just go back to like the catch.
Just the catch 2.0.
Overtune the weapon
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah,
just like-
Can we talk
overtuned
about how
free-to-play
stupid the
weapon.
catch is actually?
What do you
What
mean?
do you wanna
Like
say?
how good it is for how?
It's ridiculous. It's so good
Yeah.
for no reason.
Hey,
Like what? It gives you ER, elemental burst crit rate, and also elemental burst damage.
hey,
Mm.
I'm happy.
Wait, what weapon type is Furina? Does anybody know yet? Anybody?
Sword.
Any dreamers?
Sword.
Did you just say sword?
Sword.
Wait, what's the free weapon again? The fishing weapon? Excuse me.
Oh, it's also
What
a
was
sword.
Raiden? What was Raiden Shogun again? Hmm? What was the free
Hmm.
fishing weapons?
I see what you're trying to say.
But
gonna
Sumeru
say,
was a
what
That is
is
bow,
actually a very good
and
point.
Nahida doesn't
Yeah,
use a
but
bow.
Sumeru was a bow, but Nahida didn't use a bow. That's why it was shit.
But Tignari uses a bow. You see how this works? You see the lines, the connections?
Venti uses a bow.
Can
That's
someone
why I-
actually Google what the bow does?
No, because I
Sumeru
don't
bow,
want to.
I have
I
no
don't know
idea.
what
Shoots
it's
arrows.
You think I want that in my search
What's its-
history?
What is the name? Look, okay, hold on. What is the name of it? Does anyone know the
It
name?
shoots
I don't.
arrows.
I don't want to talk about it.
Just search Sumeru fishing bow.
And
Free to
literally,
play.
I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up.
Sumeru.
God damn. Yeah, if the weapon type lines up with the Archon, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be good. That's gonna be the free to play weapon for the Archon, just like what Raiden Shogun was with the catch.
Okay, are you ready for this flip?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so this is the passive. It triggers the Flow Rider effect. After
I know what that
an-
means.
After using an elemental skill, it deals 80% attack as AoE damage upon hitting an opponent. Flow Rider will be removed after 15 seconds or causing 3 instances of AoE damage. Only one instance of AoE damage can be caused every 2 seconds in this way, and you can trigger the Flow Rider effect at once every 12 seconds.
What is it substat?
Wait, what did
What
it
is its
just
substat?
say?
That's so dumb.
What is
Why
the
is there an-
substat of it?
Let me see.
I think it's attack.
I'm pretty sure it's attack.
Is it?
A bow for no one. Great. Like
Who knows,
literally,
maybe-
I can't.
Maybe Lenny's gonna use it.
ain't
I
giving
don't
that
know.
to
I mean, it
Lin.
sounded like
Yeah.
it was kind of meant for Tignari, maybe, but they put it like a weird internal cooldown on the effect, right? It's like 2 seconds. That's dumb.
They say its energy recharge was
Yeah,
a
it's
substat.
ER.
Oh,
It's
it's ER.
who is meant to use this?
Tignari
It's
needs
ER.
0 ER, so great.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hey, it is what it is. For the
Hey,
people
it's
who farm that
AoE
bow.
damage, right? It's for Venti.
Oh my god.
True. And the energy recharge to get his burst back.
I see.
They went back to overcorrect because they didn't have a fishing weapon for Venti.
Mm. So
Ah, so that means Nahidas is coming eventually as well.
yes, in Natlin.
in that yeah, the Nation of Fire. That's where the Dendroarchon gets revived.
You're gonna fish in the volcanoes.
Yeah. Actually, that'd be kind of baller. I'm not gonna lie.
That'd be cool, you know.
I'm not even gonna lie. If we fishing in volcanoes, I'm down. I'll fish all day. Oh man. Okay. But yeah. So I think that will do it for open discussion. So before we get to the roundup, there is something I did want to discuss. Even though we didn't make it a topic and for the main thing for this Teyvat summit, it is something I do want to give its own podcast series eventually, and that is actually Honkai Star Rail. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the development of Honkai Star Rail versus Genshin. I know we've already discussed
let me
it a
start.
little bit. Well,
Let me start. I don't play the game, so
I do know you
zero
don't play
I
comment.
do not play the game either, but I do know a lot about it because all my friends play it and they're trying to get me to play it.
Well then.
Well,
Oh,
I
Mars.
play every day like you, Final.
Yep.
And like it just really seems like the reason why Honkai is getting so much more quality of life and just things that just feel nice is because, like you said, Genshin has so much more to do. If Honkai didn't have this stuff, why the fuck would we even play? Other than the
Well,
other than,
yes,
like,
but
the
also
turn-based.
I do want to say different development teams, and once the game code is written, it's harder to fundamentally change like the way the systems work. And so like Star Rail had an opportunity to learn from what Genshin had already done and fundamentally write the code from the ground up in a better way to affect the quality of life of the game. So that is a big factor.
But they're adding. You haven't seen it because you don't play anymore, Flo. But maybe you have. Like next patch for Star Rail, they released like what they're gonna do for Star Rail, and it's like a fuck ton of things. Like they're adding next patch.
I'm sure, and also again, different development studios. They're probably going to have different goals and stuff like that. And then one thing I do want to bring up is that the content for Star Rail takes less development time to make.
It does.
So they
that's
do
true.
probably
It
have
does.
more free time and more resources. Like I do assume that once we finish the main story and regions of Genshin, they will take those development resources and just start putting them into more quality of life and more stuff like that, which is a little bit funny because it's like maybe we won't get like certain really good quality of life until like the end of the game, you know? But like it is
3
what it
years.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting 3 years for a skip button.
Oh my god, not to skip, but okay. The thing about Honkai Star Rail in comparison to Genshin Impact is I think Honkai Star Rail cut out even more fluff.
Mm,
Genshin has a lot of fluff in it,
it
meaning
does.
like they're trying a bunch of things to see what sticks, what doesn't. But since it's in the game, it's in the game. Like, right, like, and they're gonna continue. And there's some people who plays it, and so, like I'm talking like maybe side quests or really obscure like tasks that they get you to do. Honkai seems like it's much more clear cut on what they want
Mm,
to put in the game. And but however, at the same time, due to its combat mechanics, the game for me has gotten very repetitive very quickly. I'm basically watching the game as opposed to playing. I'm playing the game even less. Like Genshin, I barely play, but Honkai, literally, I go in, press
Yeah.
like 3 buttons, and then the game plays
That's
itself.
that's what killed it for me. I'm not a big fan of turn-based combat. Like I like things like Baldur's Gate, but like traditional turn-based like Final Fantasy combat, I don't like it. It's so repetitive and it's boring. It's boring. It
And
really is.
I made a video talking about it, and Tectone actually responded, and he says that's what he wants. He would prefer it like that.
Mm.
That's what makes the game more enjoyable for him because he's like, would you rather do it actively? Because you're gonna do it regardless. Would you
Oh,
rather
that's
do it
so
actively? And I was like, yeah, but like, no, of course not. But that's because of the way the game was designed. Because it's non-dynamic combat, in my opinion. I don't think turn-based is like dynamic, especially not the way they did it for Honkai Star Rail. It could be dynamic, but they didn't choose to go that way.
yeah, it could have been like they could have done multiple burst animations. They could have done more voice lines. They could have done unique animations for certain things that they didn't do, and you can see that that's not a component that's really a big concern for them. Like Genshin has more combat voice lines than Honkai Star Rail, and that doesn't make sense because Star Rail is a turn-based game. There should be more variety within the actual like combat dialogue and stuff. There's not.
Okay, but since I play both games pretty like hardcore, like I wouldn't say hardcore, but like I play a lot of both games. And while I am a pretty big Genshin whale, I do have a lot of teams like I like to play around in the Abyss that aren't whaled out that hard. And same thing for like Honkai now. I will definitely say because of how they have set up the Abyss in Genshin, the hard content in Honkai is much more enjoyable for me personally than the hard content in Abyss because Abyss just feels like annoying. It's like they have this time gate, like the worm, for example, just keep going underground. It's like let me hit the motherfucker, right? But in Honkai, I get to actually use my brain and try to keep my fucking supports alive. They're about to get one shot. You know,
Okay.
it's more enjoyable for me.
I mean, to be fair, how much of it that is that Abyss is just bad? Not that Genshin's combat system is any boring or anything.
I will argue that
Oh,
Genshin
Abyss is
does
just bad.
have
Like Abyss
This
is
is bad.
Genshin has one of the best combat systems I've seen ever in a game. I just feel like sometimes they underutilize it. And
They really do.
yeah,
For fear of anxiety.
yeah. Exactly.
I don't. Is it bad? I think that's bullshit.
Surprisingly, what surprises me is that they have a game like Honkai Impact Third, which is like if you don't even have the best units, you can't do some of the
It's
content.
only anxiety.
Yeah. And then Genshin, but I think part of it is the player base too. Because a
They're always
player
trying
base,
to cast a wider net.
yeah. Genshin caught the eye of a lot of people. We all know this. We can all agree on this. Genshin caught the eye of a lot of people. So it brought in people who never played gachas, brought in people who probably never played anime, RPGs, like people from all kinds of walks of life, you know? So when you have like just this big net of people that are coming in, they're probably sitting there trying to figure out how can we best develop this game for the majority of these people, you know? And as much as we hate to say it, a lot of the people that play Genshin are just casuals. They're not trying to, beat the hardest content. They're not trying to fight. They're not even trying to build their characters right sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, they're just enjoying the world of Genshin as it is. And I feel like Genshin Impact has developed on that route. They're trying to give that the player base that casual route where they can, come in, do whatever they want to do their dailies. If they want to do Abyss, they can do Abyss, but Abyss isn't like the major thing of the game.
Yeah.
You got like the story, character interaction, all that stuff. You have all these different ways how you can tackle the game of Genshin in your own way. Now, Honkai Star Rail, it is purely combat focused. We've seen it. The events are even combat. Most of the events are combat focused. The combat for Honkai Star Rail has become its core. So you have people who, let's just be real, the people who are going to stick with Honkai Star Rail are probably the people who like the combat at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's nowhere near the size of like the audience that Genshin has for like all the random stuff it has within the game. So I feel like their development cycle has to be on point, and that's why they're giving us all this quality of life, all these changes, all these things, because they're trying to keep that already small group of people that they have sticking with their game in their game. Because it's not like it has like the Genshin, it has part of the Genshin audience. We know that. They designed the systems behind it in order to match up with Genshin, so that Genshin players can come in and feel a sense of familiarity, right? But at the same time, it's a very small part of that Genshin community, and it's trying to make sure that it caters to that part so that it can still keep generating revenue, making money, and self-fund itself. So it can't afford it can't afford to piss off its audience. Because
I think you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Like I said this after Star Rail came out, because I played, like a week or two of it and got through the story that was available. Well, actually, I didn't even finish that, but whatever. I got through Bellabog. It's like I kept saying over and over, like, I know that people are honeymooning this game right now, and like it's like everyone's just in love with it, but I can already see this game is going to fall off the face of the earth once everyone beats the content. Like you've said, and we've said before, there's nothing to do in the game. Way less to do than Genshin Impact, and that's already a pain point for people in Genshin. And so, like, buckling down and focusing on the harder content, like it clearly is designed to be more complicated in the combat area and less forgiving, really. So, like, I think that's important. Like, I think you're right. If they didn't do that, then they would be bleeding players hard.
Yeah.
Wait, but hasn't it been like 3 months since Star Rail came out? I feel like the honeymoon phase would have ended for most people by now.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And people have actually
a lot of people
like, there
have
are people
left
in my Discord that play it, and like they keep coming back daily, and I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Like I don't think it's that good of a game. I like the story, but the actual gameplay to me is tedious and it sucks. And I just don't want to play the game. Like I want to watch someone do the story is what I want to do.
I love Star Rail so much. I will say the only thing I don't like about Star Rail's combat is, I'm using an example, Fischl is one of my most used support characters in Genshin, right?
So
I don't ever have to worry about her pretty much ever dying. I switch her in, I put out Oz, I switch her off. Silverwolf is my favorite support character in Star Rail. My Silverwolf has probably 50 times the deaths of any other character in the game for me personally, because I can't just switch her off field, I can't just put a Zhongli shield on her. Like, if she gets targeted and gets one shot, it's over,
Sounds like you need
Wait, is that
a
any-
team.
Right now,
Everything random.
right now, Honkai Star Rail is making a lot with the Kafka banner, and I think
Yes.
this should just point to how important proper marketing is when it comes to these games. It's like Kafka is a great example of a unit. For those who don't play the game, is like she is strong.
Mhm.
She is a strong unit combined with her like character trait, which is the Dami
Being
mommy
hot.
type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it's not enough to just have a character look amazing. Dia, that itself is not gonna sell a character. Let's just be honest, right? You cannot just but if you make a character super OP broken, but looks like absolute trash, which actually for Hoyoverse that's just not a problem, because none of their characters look like crap.
Yeah.
They all have great appeal. So Hoyoverse has one side of the formula always down. It's now just the other side of the formula, right? Because they all look good to a certain degree. Now, but do they all perform at the same
Bennett.
level?
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue that Bennett looks bad, but he doesn't look too bad. Like he's not like a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Let's say like he's
Yeah.
not absolute trash. Then I mean, you can find adorable aspects to the character, right? Right.
True.
So it's just Hoyoverse right now. I think they're very clever with how they're driving Honkai Star Rail's character performance as opposed to how they drive Genshin's character performance. Like if they dropped a character like Dia in Honkai right now, that kills all the momentum.
It does.
Like imagine Fushuan. How many people here knows Fushuan?
Oh.
Right?
I do.
Imagine Fushuan comes out and she's like Dia level.
Oh.
That's it.
No.
The
But
game
she's
is
not.
like I know she's not. I know she's not. But imagine if she were. That kills all the momentum, and then like Hoyoverse would never financially recover from that. But that's why they cannot.
It's truly unfortunate, but Star Rail is gonna have a fuck ton of power creep.
Yeah,
Like it's gonna be power creep almost every patch or every other patch. But like that's how they keep the game going.
The thing is like drawing a very modern example with that is Jingyuan versus Kafka.
Here we go.
The whole power creep discussion right now is revolving around their E0 free to play performance, which there's a huge power creep there.
No, there's
It's like about like 25-30%, like more.
a
efficient.
major disparity. He needs his
Yeah.
light cone.
Yeah, but then if you look at E0 S1, suddenly it goes down to maybe around like 10%.
Mm.
Which would you say a 10% difference in power is a power creep? Maybe if you stack that for 5 patches in a row.
Mm.
Right? Like 5 patches later, another lightning DPS unit drops, a lightning hunt unit drops, and it's like 50% stronger than Jingyuan, even
Yeah.
at E0 S1, then we got a problem on our hands.
True.
But you see, the problem is Star Rail doesn't have the traction nor the momentum that Genshin had. And I've also talked about this. And that's a big problem for Hoyoverse when you look at it from a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year perspective. What are the only, like, out of all the gacha games throughout history, the only solution they've ever been able to come up with is power creep to that problem.
True.
That's the only, and Genshin is an anomaly among anomaly.
It is.
How the game is still selling characters from 2-3 years ago today, while also sustaining the amount of sales they have for modern characters, meaning that Genshin has not bled revenue for characters that are 2-3 years old in a gacha games, nor are they losing revenue for modern characters because people are both still polling for new characters as they are polling for old characters. What gives? What the fuck? That's unheard of. Like all future developers for gacha games are probably just taking notes all day from like how Genshin is running their design model. But Genshin has been piggybacking off of their success and momentum to be able to achieve this. Nobody's gonna pay the bills if nobody's here to pay the bills. And Honkai is gonna run into that issue relatively soon. I feel. In a couple more patches, how many more people are still going to be here, like die hard pulling for every single character, regardless? Especially if they're also trying to pull for Genshin. And then Wuthering Waves comes out.
I will say,
and that's another thing. Yeah, go like.
Honkai Star Rail is not going anywhere. It's going to be like Impact there, where it's around for years to come. Because Honkai diehards are Honkai diehards. They're not going to leave the game. So, of course, Star Rail's on definitely. I agree that it's going to definitely be on a downward trend in the coming years, but it's still going to be around, just because of how diehard the Honkai player base is.
I don't doubt that, but I do suspect Honkai Star Rail. It will be interesting to see, especially now that the Kafka banner is happening. Once Fontaine hits for Genshin, to see if Honkai Star Rail starts taking a hit for characters after Kafka. Because I imagine it should. Since it's sharing quite a bit of the player base.
There's going to reach a point where even free-to-players have 2-3 teams built up. That's the break point.
You know, though, for real, though, people expected that after Hu Tao and Ganyu. They were like, well, the game banners are dead now. Like, there's no other banners anyone's going to pull on. And people were so wrong about that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's going to be interesting. But
I mean,
we are talking about a dynamic between 2 games now, instead of just like 1.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
well,
go Walrus.
You gotta also understand that push comes to shove, Star Rail is just gonna be like, hey yo, Genshin, can we borrow $1 million real quick?
Ain't no
You know, like
ain't no way.
Yeah. I think that's
So-
actually a pretty good thing, though. Is I mean, like even though it's a niche title and it's more niche than Genshin, like you don't have to necessarily worry about the funding and like, oh, is this game just gonna get straight up yeeted and deleted in like a year?
Yeah.
I think that's good. That's good. I know people complain that like Hoyoverse has so much money, but like
I mean, it's
there
a
are
good
upsides
thing,
to
though.
that.
It lets them experiment, which is
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think it's a
And
good
like
thing.
for real, like we wouldn't be able to have like I think everyone's mentioned that this game like Star Rail appeals to the people that are more meta oriented, that like the more hardcore combat experience, and like we wouldn't have that if Genshin weren't so successful.
That's
So
true.
like really, the people that were disappointed in Genshin kind of funded their own game.
You are kind of right.
Yeah.
You are right.
And there's Zenless Zone Zero.
Yeah, Zenless
That's
Zone Zero.
like maybe coming out next year, I think.
The story stuff that they're doing with that,
For.
it looks really good. I'm excited for the story elements because they have this really cool mix of like comic panel art versus animated scenes or whatever, and it looks really cool.
Mm.
Why are y'all excited? I'm gonna dread the day Zenless comes, because then I have to make Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless content. Dude, I'm gonna die.
Lame.
There's no
It's
way. I
called
can
Are
play
you
all this.
skipping Wuthering Waves?
Hey yo.
Are you just gonna
Okay,
completely
but-
skip over it?
Honestly, like you might not want to skip the Wuthering Waves wave at least. Like
Yeah,
you
don't.
kind of want to be there for the wave.
I'll be
Punishing
there
Grey
for the
Ravens is
wave.
like number 2 right now on.
I'll be there for the wave, but when the storm's gone, I'm out. I'm out. You know.
And also,
also just be the next Tower of Fantasy.
it might be, yeah.
It might
Like,
be,
right
but
now,
like you want to be there for the initial wave though.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
trust it though for real because Kuro Games, their management of PGR has been really good, and they I mean, it's hard to argue with it. They're pretty friendly to free to play.
I'm not sitting here and saying that Wuthering Waves is gonna be trash or it's gonna like flop, but it's damn near impossible for it to ever be on Genshin's level.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's facts.
yeah,
It's just
100%. It's too hardcore. Just
Yeah.
looking at the game, like even movement has mechanics. What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
there's like
like
parkour and
50%
stuff.
people are already not gonna play that.
I
It's
like
too
the
hardcore.
parkour mechanics in it. I think that's interesting, but I do understand. And like really what it is like Genshin existed in a bubble. It'll
did.
never happen. No other gacha game is ever going to have the success that Genshin has.
I agree.
Ooh,
It's gonna
I
be
agree,
way
yeah.
too diluted in the future. The market's
Yeah,
gonna be
unless we have
way
COVID
too
again,
diluted.
unless everyone ends up in their houses again, stuck in it, you know.
No, even then though, like, because right now, if you're like, oh, I'm stuck in my house, I don't know what I'm gonna possibly do.
I mean,
The
there's more
modern
options
days-
now.
Yeah, there's so many more options, not just in gacha games, but just things to do in general.
Yeah, we've had
Like,
a great year for
yeah.
games.
Our like society has developed to a point where there were like even traditional services, live streams and stuff, like all that stuff, they've gotten more comfortable with people staying at home. They've developed features for entertainment for just stay at home people. Is like the last 2-3 years, a lot of companies has poured a lot into making sure like, hey, if people don't want to go out or they can't go out, you can do stuff at home. Not just for gacha games. And on top of that, there's been so many more gacha games come out, and just solo titles as well. It's you have so many more competitions nowadays. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Never,
Yeah.
Genshin-
it'll never happen. And people have fallen for that trap once. They're not gonna fall for it again.
Oh yeah, I mean like for like Snowbreak Containment Zone came out. I don't know if anyone's tried that one. It's like the shooter gacha, and it's pretty good. I tried it out. I don't think I'm gonna stick with it,
It's
but
already
like
dead.
the banners are like the wishing system is like literally the same. It's got the same pricing as Genshin and everything, and it's like, what are you
Yeah,
trying to do here?
No.
Literally, people are copy pasting.
I mean,
Genshin
yeah,
Impact.
people are trying to
All due respect
recreate
to-
a fraction of Genshin's success. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah, all due respect to the people who play Snowbreak, but I went on Twitch the other day, bro. It was like, it was last week, Friday night, like 8 p.m. I looked at Snowbreak. There was 300 viewers, bro, for the entire fucking game.
I don't doubt it. I mean, the story is like okay, Punishing Gray Ravens has a pretty rough story in terms of like translation, and I'm not a stickler. Like I understand that like these companies aren't native English speakers, and a lot of the times they don't hire professional translators and stuff. So like I get it. I'm not gonna sit there and like complain about not perfect English, right? But like I tried to understand Snowbreak's story, and I don't understand. I don't know what the hell is going on. It like does not make sense. So like it's really one of those games that like you have to just love the gameplay, and it's cool. Like it's good gameplay, but I don't think it's gonna like hook anyone.
It's unfortunate.
Well, that will do it. We covered all the main topics that I wanted to talk about today. Greatly appreciate you guys coming in. Flowcat, Walrus, Flip, Lay, and even Jello, even though he had to dip early. Greatly appreciate him coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Well,
no problem, man.
it's
No
Walrus's
problem.
fault.
What do you mean?
What?
It's Wal-
What do you mean?
As soon look, Jello was gonna stay for like 10 more minutes because I was texting him while we were talking, right? But the moment Walrus said usage rate, the moment he said
Ain't
usage
no way.
rate.
Hey, I'm gonna be on another Genshin
I don't
Court
blame
video
him.
just for bringing that shit up.
But yeah, man. Greatly appreciate you guys. It was fun doing another Teyvat Summit. We definitely have to do another one soon. And also, I would be interested for those of you who do play Honkai Star Rail. I would definitely want to do one for that game too later down the line. I think that would be interesting, kind of seeing where that game is like half a year. But anyway, other than that, greatly appreciate you guys. Guys, you're in my chat. Check them out. I pinned everybody's link to their channel in a pinned comment, so you can see that.
Too.
Not yours, Lay. Left yours
Oh,
out.
thank
Don't
God.
worry.
'Cause
Flip also. I'll make sure to get that real quick. Flip, if you could send me your link to your channel, I'd like to share that with my chat. But yeah, again, greatly appreciate you guys. Lay, thank you for organizing this, even though you had to drag me across the finish line. Greatly appreciate you too, getting all the guests together and everything. And yeah, if you guys have any last minute things you want to say, hey, let it out.
Oh yeah. I want to say see you in 4 months, Walrus. I know this is gonna be your last live stream for a long ass time, and I can't wait to have you back in the community, man. You're a treasure.
Wait, what?
Wait, what's happening?
Walrus is leaving for 4 months.
Where?
What are you okay? Is
Yeah.
everything
Wait, for
No,
4 months?
Yeah, I got work in China. Like legit like work.
Oh.
I'm on contract over there. So I have to fly over to China. I'll try to keep making videos, but live streams are gonna be impossible. Like with
Dang.
VPN and then like having to live stream with the band. I think where I'm gonna be at, they have like 20 megabit internet. God damn it. It's gonna
Dang.
and that's download speed. I think upload speed, like they don't even know what that is. So yeah, so I won't be active live stream wise for the next 4 months until December. I'll be back, and then that I'm probably only gonna be here for like a month, and I may have to go back again depending on how they proceed. You know, like in China, it's very like it's it's very whatever with them over there. But yeah, this is gonna be the last stream. I fly out on
Last
Monday
stream?
night.
We really caught you for the last one? Dang.
Yeah,
Hope
you
it goes
did.
well for you.
Dang, man.
Yeah.
Likewise.
But I'll be making videos though. I'll be
Okay,
making videos, and
okay.
I hope to catch some maybe like closed beta stuff for like Wuthering Waves.
Alright. Dang.
Yeah.
That's gonna be crazy. I'll have nothing to do on my Wednesdays and Saturdays. Dang.
Don't worry, I'll try to keep the content extra spicy,
Extra
especially
spicy?
for Flip. Like my goal is to try to get on another Genshin Court before the end of the year.
Okay.
I need
Want
to
another
really,
one?
yeah, I need to drive the controversy a little bit more. I've been trying to keep it tame, but now that I'm gonna be more irrelevant, I need the exposure.
Alright.
Time to say some saucy stuff once Fontaine drops.
Okay.
Alright, if you
Yeah.
want to do something, just disrespect Fischl. I'll get a new trial for you immediately.
No, that's too blatant.
Dang.
That's too blatant. Oh no, you know what I could do? You know what I can do? I can make a whole video about the new artifact set. And I'll say like,
Yes.
oh, Fischl's dead because of this artifact.
Yeah,
Set. She's useless
say
now.
that.
Like that's the worst character for this new artifact set. Nobody's gonna
Really?
use Fischl for this.
Wanna- Dude, just make another Chi-Chi battery clip. That was amazing.
That was
No,
amazing.
Chi-Chi battery. The beautiful thing about
That was a
Chi-Chi
mistake,
battery.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a mistake, but that's the beauty of it. Because imagine if I actually caught it, I wouldn't have included it in the video. But the fact I just but the thing is, even before that, I said Bennett was the good battery for Hu Tao. That was not a mistake because I actually used Bennett with Hu Tao for the longest time. I love
Isn't
using,
bad, honestly.
like it's not bad, but of course it's not like
Yeah.
super
I
like
mean,
it's not
I
the
actually
meta.
I relate to you because I really like Diona C6 and just I know that it's not perfect synergy with Hu Tao, but I like using Diona with Hu Tao because you can kind of like be under 50%, run into the circle and do the burst and capture at least some of the buff, even if you don't get the full buff. Even though it's stupid, it's not optimal, I know. but
What I used,
Yeah,
because Hu Tao back when she first came out, she was absolutely crushing everything.
she was.
oh yeah,
got
it
her
didn't matter. It didn't
yeah,
matter.
I got her C1, and then with her signature weapon, and then what I used to do with Bennett was I know when I got Hu Tao low enough, she had 2 charge attacks, maybe 3 if I was quick enough
Yeah.
to squeeze in there
Yeah.
under 50%, and it was huge damage. But of course, once she got above 50%, then you kind of lose. But it was just like the give or take, and Bennett charged her ult back so fast that it was just like it was so comfortable playing those units. I didn't find out about Albedo a little later on. It was somebody from my chat. It's like, yo, Walrus, you gotta try, like, drop fucking Bennett and slap Albedo in there. He's just better. And I was
Yeah.
like, no way.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it, and I tried it. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was the original OG's
Yeah.
team. Albedo,
Yeah, and
Zhongli.
then and then I started playing Albedo Zhongli with Hu Tao like that. That's
Yeah.
how it evolved. But yeah, the whole Chi Chi battery thing, it's beautiful because it was a mistake. But now that I know it, I ever since then I've definitely been more careful when editing my videos and stuff like that. So it never happened. But then it's like I've been saying with my chat, I need to like actually monetize merch with Chi Chi battery. Like imagine just like having a little like a battery with Chi Chi's like talisman
Hey.
on it. It'd be like, oh my god, I'm the Chi Chi battery guy, and I love every second of
Yeah.
it. It's amazing.
That'd be awesome.
It's one of the most popular memes as well.
You know what's
Oh my
sad though,
God.
Flip? You know what's really sad? Walrus didn't even know it was a fucking meme months later until I told him on live stream while we were
No,
talking.
it's true.
Really?
It's true. Nobody told me.
Really?
Like nobody in my actually. It was funny because I was so confused. There was a period of time where every video I posted, people would spam Chichi battery, and I had no idea what they were talking about. I was like, okay, like, and every video I was like, okay, maybe it's like a new trend or something like that. But I didn't because I didn't know about it, and I didn't bother looking it up either because I'm not like a huge like these kind of meme like my videos. I don't post memes that
Yeah.
often,
Yeah.
so it's like I never bothered looking into it until one day Lay, because I know Lay, and at that point I'd known him for like many months, and he was like, Walrus, you're a huge meme in the community. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he told me about, he's like, yeah, you gotta search up like Chi Chi battery, like your Chi Chi battery. You know that, right? No, I don't. And then no, just go search it up. And I searched it up and I reacted it to it live because it was Zajev who first like blew it up, right? And that's how
Yeah.
I even knew It was like 7 or 8 months later from when Zajev first reacted to. And then there was like and then I found out how Ziox reacted to Zajev, who reacted. Like it became this whole like reaction meme. I laughed pretty damn hard. It's hilarious looking in hindsight because I didn't even know I made that mistake in that video until like Lay told me about the meme that it had become. Then I realized like, oh my god. But by then it was way too late. I don't even try to explain it nowadays unless somebody comes like uses it as like legitimate argument against memes. Like people say like, yo, imagine still talking about meta or like stuff like when you literally suggested Chi Chi as the battery, and then I have to explain. But most of the time people come in for like a good laugh. There's like, lol, it's a Chi Chi battery guy. Like, yeah, that's me, Chi Chi battery guy. It's like part of my identity now, which I think is cool. I like it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But how does it feel,
So-
Walrus, to know that at least one person in this world you made them play Eula and Chi Chi?
I think it's more than. It's definitely more than one. It's definitely more than one. That video actually had more views than I would like it to have.
Also, I feel like most people should know it was a mistake because Chi Chi actually generates 0 energy. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
There's casuals who don't know that.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. It was like a lot of newer
Yeah.
players. I went back to the video and read through the comments. Some people were like, wait, like I've been trying it, like I must be doing it wrong. Like what weapon do you use? Like I'm not generating. Like it's not
Yeah.
battering my Eula very well.
Yeah, so I mean, like, but for real, if someone's that casual that they don't even know that that's wrong, then that's probably an upgrade from what they were doing previously anyway.
Dang.
Honestly, like you get Superconduct and you get Chi-Chi on Clam, and then you have Fizz shredded Clam procs. Best team ever.
I actually had a really good team I liked. It was Raiden, Chi-Chi, Jinyan, and Rosaria. And it's a really fun, like, Superconduct, Clam, Chi-Chi physical driver team.
Wait, run that by me again?
Raiden, Rosaria, Jinyan, and Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi's the driver.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great team. It's really fun.
I guess that's one of the
Uh,
beauties of Genshin is the team building. At the end of
It's
the
the
day.
Yeah.
it's beautiful until they bring back the 3.7 Abyss, but on
Oh
crack
no, never
with,
again.
with the light and dark
Never
element.
again. Oh, those
Dude, I hope they don't make it that bad.
honestly.
Imagine those elemental lizards, but they have the light and dark empowered
Yeah.
elements on them, and then
No. Don't do that.
and you gotta disarm them.
Don't do that.
The thing is, I want to hope Hoya won't do that, but I'm not taking any
You
chances.
can't trust them.
What I'm worried about is what if the light and dark thing is just like a natural buff thing for the monsters, and then now they can slap that on
Oh.
any monster. Like let's say it
Yeah.
increases their HP by 20% and their damage dealt by let's say like 30%. And if you don't dispel it, sure, just deal with that. Just deal with the extra 20% HP and the 30% damage they're gonna deal to you. And then they can slap it in any abyss rotation as a buff to like a aura buff to any monster they have in the game. Like for example, if the light and dark at base, it gives them this stat buff, and then and for specific Fontaine monster, they have new mechanics. But at base, they just give them this buff. That's like a buff to every monster that it can apply on.
Mm.
Then they
If
can
you- if
actually
you're
make an
right-
abyss mechanic.
I'm blaming you. It's your fault.
If they give the fucking wee nut a light and dark mechanic,
Dude,
kicking
it's
your ass,
over.
Walrus.
I mean, it just makes sense for them to do that.
The thing is,
It just makes sense.
Why wouldn't they?
I could definitely
Yeah.
see
Also
them
drive
bringing
sales.
it into the abyss. They're gonna do. I
And the
wouldn't
argument would be,
surprised.
you can still kill it. It's just more they deal more damage, more health. What's wrong with that? Like you don't have to dispel it. You can just deal with that. It's not like an insurmountable difference, right? Like that's the
Yeah.
argument. Like, oh, because they said in the
That
live
is the
stream, oh,
argument.
don't worry, this is not gonna become like a necessary thing. And truth be told, that's not necessary. You don't need
Not.
to pull for these
Yeah,
characters
the
to deal with
Abyss.
that.
Alright,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Just good luck 36 starring it.
You know,
But,
we're not trying to cause anxiety.
But it was nice being with y'all today. I'm glad we were able to set this up.
For sure.
I have to go because I still got like 10 hours of editing on my
Hey,
video.
man.
I gotta do.
I'm so sorry.
So
Damn, you just gotta
I'm
put
just-
in minimum effort like I do.
no. I'm just hoping Flip doesn't put me in jail after it's uploaded.
Look,
But,
you putting
It's a
people in
tier list,
jail?
isn't it?
I need to
Yes,
see
it
this
is.
Genshin court.
But good thing my channel's not about me.
Don't worry, people will still find a way to hate you.
Damn.
Uh,
But he's not wrong.
yes, I do have a channel, Wars Chat, but it's not ready. It'll be ready by tomorrow morning. But I gotta
Tomorrow
go.
morning, y'all.
Y'all have a good night.
See you later.
All right, see you later.
See you,
Yeah, see ya.
Walrus. I'm gonna miss you, bro.
Don't worry, I'll make videos. I'll still be in Discord. I have a VPN. Wait. I gotta farm some social credit now. Okay, guys.
True.
Alright.
I'm doing
Bye.
well. Yep. See ya. Okay.
Oh man.
I guess that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
to finally be able to speak with Flip. I mean, for Fontaine, I wouldn't mind doing the Teyvat Summit more frequently. I think, especially
we
with
should
the
do it
new
again.
stuff, like remember was Flip here when we mentioned the whole tinfoil hat thing about what makes a character strong?
No.
Yeah,
Oh, I was. Wait, like a character being less popular?
Oh,
Or having
you
less
were here.
yeah.
presence?
Perfect.
Oh
Sure.
yeah. So we're I want to reconvene.
we gotta have another
First.
summit just
Now,
to
like
discuss it.
4.2 drops or like 4.3, we're gonna have to reconvene and just talk about whether or not that's been accurate. you know?
Okay, 4.3.
I'm not feeling good about Chlorine. I'm so sorry, Jello, if he's watching this. I don't have a good feeling. She's too popular, too hype. She looks too good, right? And she's
Oh.
already involved, starting with 4.0. I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't think she's gonna be as bad as Dia, but I think she's gonna be like a Wanderer type unit.
Okay.
Navia's the
Some-
one that scares me the most.
Navia,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
Geo
Geo and
Claymore.
she seems to have a lot of
Claymore.
story
Geo
presence.
Claymore.
Yeah.
That's like
Like, it has to
automatically
be
a
like dead
L.
on arrival. Like dead on arrival. There's no chance.
Well, they say she's a standard banner. She's gonna be the Geo standard
It's
banner.
over. It's over.
Yeah.
Like the moment
She's
she got a
Geo
Claymore
standard.
and she was Geo,
Claymore.
it was like they just handed out an L right there. It's like what?
Like,
Worst
you know
weapon
that
type
you
is
know
and standard.
you know she was gonna be dead on arrival with that cleavage issue. You know, like how her cleavage is like missing like
Yeah,
details.
that's
So
true.
like,
have
you
a
know,
line.
they didn't even care enough to put that into her character kit. Like,
Mm.
she's a standard banner character. She's standard just from her like cleavage.
Lack of cleavage, standard banner. That's all there is.
No, like they literally took everything that's like bad in the game and they just slapped it into one character. Geo, Claymore, standard banner, like minimal cleavage design. Like,
No
For
way,
the full
man.
package.
yeah.
This is how they treat Geo after a whole chapter without a new Geo character. That's crazy.
I was saying she's like, for her to even be like remotely relevant, she has to like revitalize, crystallize.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, she's like the Nilu for crystallize. She has hyper like pyro crystallize, hyper hydro, and each crystallize would be a unique reaction.
Mm.
That would be super great for revitalizing Geo, and she'll be in like most meta
You
like
know,
Geo reaction teams.
I was talking about this with Lei the other day. If she actually had like some EM scaling, that would be interesting. Because I feel like that would change things up.
It would make Albedo more useful.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
that was another point of it.
Everybody comes back into the meta.
Yeah.
Like,
It
To
would
fair,
be
there's another
interesting.
thing, like, I was gonna say, cause would they make a Geo character better than Zhongli though?
I mean, but the thing is
no,
that
not better than Zhongli.
Zhongli is really more of a like defensive / utility option.
Yeah, actually, Zhang Li is like a you. If you want to improve your clear times, you don't want Zhang Li. He will
Oh,
only
yeah.
make your abyss. It's a win more situation. I think Walrus has said this before. It's like if you're
Yeah.
already clearing abyss, then Zhang Li is designed to make it easier. Like you don't have to dodge, but if you're not clearing abyss, you will lose time by pulling
Yeah.
Zhang Li.
Yeah. If time is an issue, Zhongli is not the fix. Unless you're dying, then you might be the fix.
Yeah, Or like you're a Meltgun U player.
Yeah, I mean, for some of these new enemies, though, for real, like I'm glad that they're starting to make them hit harder and stuff because it does add to it.
It was surprising when we got into like when the consecrated beasts were finally introduced into Abyss. I put up a Zhongli shield, right? I'm thinking I'm gonna get a few hits out of this, right? 2 seconds later, my shield's gone. And I'm in disbelief. I couldn't believe
Should
it.
have just played Baiju.
Bro was really
I was actually in disbelief because I was like, I thought this was like the shield to end all shields. And next thing you know, these consecrated beasts are like, yeah, we're just gonna rip that off real quick. I'm like,
the best way to deal with beasts is to just one shot them.
oh yeah, you have to go at them while they go at you, and it's whoever kills each other first.
We didn't get to talk about this, but Arlecchino weekly boss fight. That has
That's
got
insane.
to be
That has
peak
to be a thing.
Fontaine. Yeah, it has to be. Arlecchino weekly boss fight. That's gonna be peak Fontaine
That's gonna be
combat.
That'd be sick.
I was
she's-
gonna say something, but then I realized it was too related to the dreams I've been having.
I swear to God, the
Right.
Traveler's single voice line in Fontaine better be objection. If they don't just yell objection in court, I'm gonna be so mad.
Oh, what if, with the point two, just a reference to Ace
Right.
Attorney? That'd be
Exactly.
perfect.
Exactly. We need that.
We do need that. That'd be perfect. Oh man, I'm actually really looking forward to the region of Fontaine. I know that there's
Yeah.
gonna be some stuff that I'm probably gonna be disappointed in, but as a whole,
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm looking forward to it more than I thought I was. So I feel like that's a
Until,
good thing.
until you are forced to do underwater
Yeah,
exploration
until
for
then.
the entirety of
Yeah.
4.0.
I mean, every diving mechanic I've ever experienced, unless the game is Subnautica, is absolute dog shit. So
Exactly.
Mm. True. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a good time. We'll see. But yeah, 4.3, reconvene, and we'll see.
We'll
if
reconvene
you're-
4.3, and I've had a dream. All right, even I've had a dream that 4.3 might be midway through Fontaine already.
Yeah.
why is everyone quoting MLK all the time? I don't get it.
Mm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know.
4.3
If that's
midway.
true, then my what I said about Fontaine is even gonna be more true because I said Fontaine was gonna be like a filler kind of patch because we just had Sumeru, super hype, super exciting,
Yeah.
answered some questions, setting up more storylines, and then Fontaine a little bit of a wind down, reintroduce us to a different like aspect of Fontaine, not Fontaine, the Fatuis, and then like throw us straight into Natlan where we pick right up with the story and lore, and then this is gonna take us all the way through to Snezhnaya.
Yeah, there is a secret quest line in Inazuma for some lore on Arlecchino. So if you guys haven't looked at like done that or anything, if you haven't found that yet, it is kind of hard to find if you don't, explore a lot. So look for that and do it because it does give us a good
idea.
perspective of what's gonna. Yeah.
Doesn't she just like kidnap children?
Oh, she does more than that.
It's nuanced. Thank you.
Like I wonder how they're gonna explain that one. Like, oh, but she was doing it for their sake because
They were poor. They were gonna make it.
they were gonna like die very painful deaths. It was either like brainwash them and like indoctrinate them, or they were gonna die horrible death at the hands of the
Hey.
Torre or something.
Is it brainwashing if you love your mommy?
I mean, I don't know. You gotta ask the Kafka pimps.
Also, you actually just reminded me, what the fuck are they going to do to redeem Dottore? There's no way.
Who said
No,
he's
they
gonna
won't.
get redeemed?
He's gonna be like a
No
boss fight or
shot.
something.
Yeah, we're just gonna kill
I don't
him.
think he has a playable. That's one thing though, is that he does have a playable design, which is weird.
does.
It's like, why did they go through the
I mean-
effort to make his design playable?
They even redeemed Pain from Naruto, so there's hope. They gotta bring in those they gotta bring in some writers from overseas.
Okay.
I just really hope that they just like hit a point where they're like, yeah, just these Fatui are still evil,
Yes,
and they're just playable
that's-
now. So
That's what I want. Like, who cares?
Dottore, it was one of his clones.
In my opinion, it doesn't have to be that they're a good person all of a sudden. It just has to be that our ideals align. That's it. As long as our main goals align, I feel like that's
Yeah.
enough.
the enemy, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Right?
Exactly.
So
That's all we need.
I don't know. I think Dottore, if he's gonna be a playable character, they're gonna try to squeeze something in there. I don't know what it is. Let's say like he's lived for like hundreds of years and he's been doing this for his love, who was like killed by Celestia like hundreds of years ago, and he's been dedicating himself. He's like, no matter what I have to do, who I have to snuff out in the world, I will get my revenge. Right? Like it's all for my love. And at the end, maybe he takes himself out because I've accomplished it, and he just takes himself out. However, one of his fragments survive, and that's the
You
playable
see,
version.
that's
Like, he's
what I
significantly
wanted.
nerfed.
But the problem is that Nahida had him kill him.
The thing is, he will be the one to do it himself in the very end. He'll be like, I've done what I needed to do, and I gotta go. But you'll be able to play one of his fragments.
You see, that's what
why
I
he's
wanted,
gonna be
though.
nerfed as shit and a different element.
I'm okay with that. That's because I was looking, like, people were like, oh, how are we going to redeem Dottore? I was like, we'll just play one of his fragments that was good. We'll just pick like, all it takes is, like, him picking a fragment that was, doesn't agree with all the bullshit he's been doing.
We actually also don't play I, we just play the Raiden Shogun.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that was a little nuanced, because, like, apparently the later in levels she gets, she turns more into, well, the whole thing. If you look at her voice lines as she's, like, ascending.
yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Well,
at the end of the
I gotta head out as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the invite. Well, thanks to Lei, he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
But I'll see you guys in 4 months in terms of live stream. But I think because even though I can't stream, I can still participate in Discord.
Oh yeah, for
conversations.
sure.
Yeah, like I can be in Discord and just talking, but I just can't stream. So
Alright.
I'll still be chatting with you guys. And yeah, Flip, looking forward to that new Genshin Court video. Have fun with it, man. Don't worry. I'll be giving you something to talk about in the next few patches. Trust.
Thank you.
All right. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Flo, always nice to see you. I see you've been doing some casual stuff. Enjoy Final Fantasy 14. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have fun with that. Look, I hope you're gonna play Wuthering Waves. I think that game's gonna drop maybe next year as well. I think
Yeah, I'm
Zenless
looking
Zone
forward to it.
Zero, Wuthering Waves, they might drop around the same time.
That'll
I
be
think like
Oh
interesting.
man.
within a couple months of each other, maybe, because it's in terms of development, I think they're around the same. I think Wuthering Waves a little sooner,
Yeah, I
actually.
think it's gonna be soon.
They already finished like how many betas, and then Zenland Zone Zero, I think only had one.
Yeah.
So I think Zenland Zone might need to do one more because it's always CBT1, CBT2, and then actual release.
I thought they do 3. Because
Is it 3?
Yeah, because Honkai Star Rail did 3. Genshin also did 3.
Oh, then yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
I think
3.
Wuthering Waves did their second one or first one.
Yeah.
Was it the second one?
Well, the first one was a tech demo. So the first one wasn't a beta. It was just that they gave out like a tech demo to some content creators to play.
So then they basically finished CBT2 then, because they did the second one already. So they have one more. Zenless Zone Zero only did one.
Yeah,
they
it's
need
only
2
done
more.
1. And right now
Yeah,
they've been in like mad development for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on how well Genshin sells. So guys, if you want Zenless Zone Zero, you better start swiping
Yeah.
for these Fontaine
Yeah.
waifus and husbandos. You can speed up the release of ZZZ by like a couple months, depending on how hard you guys swipe.
It's ironic you say this, and the first character in 4.0 is Linny.
I mean,
I mean, somebody has to take a L.
oh, okay. I thought he was Pyro though.
Nah. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm Pyro, but I'm a
Pyro
realist at
voicing.
the same time, bro. I'm just being real, man. Somebody had to take a L. It just happened to be Lenny.
What? Final Flames on day 1. Final Flame got in full Lenny cosplay. Got him C6R5 and be like, yeah.
More Lenny for me, man. More Lenny for me.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna head out now.
All right. You have a good
Okay,
one.
bye-bye.
Oh man. But yeah, I think that's it for yeah.
Yeah, I'll do my little sign off.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Here, I guess. Yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 recently. So if you guys wanna watch me do some MSQ, I'm gonna make some discussion videos about gaming in general. But I've been sort of taking it. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think the Genshin community likes me. Just kind of what I heard, So
Damn.
I'm just gonna do my little thing and move on. I play a bunch of games anyway.
Ain't
It's not like
nothing wrong with
Genshin's
that.
the only game I play. I enjoy Genshin more when I'm not making content on it because honestly, the community is pretty ass a lot of the times. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to follow me, don't expect a lot of Genshin content. Is basically what I'm saying. But, yep. I appreciate this podcast. It was a lot of fun. I do love talking about the game with people that aren't super hyperbolic and actually have good takes. So I appreciate you all. And I'll see you next time. So
right, really appreciate it.
Peace out.
Take it easy. And Flip.
Bye.
You
Bye.
want to give yourself a quick sign out? I know you came in late.
I was actually just a day earlier, actually. You guys were the ones who were way too early. Yeah.
Sorry.
But but yeah, I don't have much to say. I also to be fair, I'm not doing a stream either, but yeah. I just want to say thank you guys for having me so much. I know I was late and I feel bad for interrupting.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
But,
All
yeah.
good. It's all good. More people, more interesting takes. That's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. But yeah, greatly appreciate you, man, coming through. Thank you. And I made sure to share your channel with my peeps. So again, guys,
so
in the
much.
chat, that's Flip's channel. So check him out. Genshin Court. I didn't even know you did a series like this, so I'm actually interested. So I'm gonna be checking that out too.
I'm just a massive meta nerd.
Hey, I'm down for it. As long as you judging people in a court setting, that sounds awesome.
Okay, just keep in mind, because I come off as like a massive asshole.
Yeah.
But that's just a persona.
No, but that's awesome because please tell me you have like exhibit A's and B's and shit.
I do.
Yes, bro. Do you watch Do you watch CJ
well.
the Champ?
Yeah.
Yes. I knew it. He's the GOAT. If it's anything like that, I'm definitely gonna be watching those. I love that. Yeah.
Okay, but
If you guys know CJ the Champ, check out Flip. Genshin Court coming to you soon.
I'm definitely less funny than him. Must be.
It's okay,
honest.
but it's okay. But it's the fact that it's Genshin. That's what makes it cool.
All right.
Oh man.
Also, okay. I'd recommend skipping like the first 4.
Okay. I'm gonna be binging them now, so you better watch out.
All right. See you later then, man.
All right, yeah, greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it. That was the end of the Teyvat Summit episode 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Lay, we owe a lot to Lay. Again, I'm going to have everybody's channels pinned in the pinned comment on Twitch, and I shared flips. And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube Frogs, channels for everybody that was a guest star down below in the comment section. But as always, greatly appreciate you members. Thank you guys for coming to watch this live or via YouTube. And as always, keep burning bright and Latom. I'm out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys are looking forward to the next Teyvat Summit in patch 4.3. Really appreciate y'all.
I stay cooking in the stove like I'm Jean Lane. Get too close, I put that flame on you like Putao mains. Try to run, you won't get far. My guy knew that sniper aim. One day when we find our sibling, we'll see brighter days. Yeah, yeah. Wishing for brighter days. Wishing for finer things. Like a 5-star name.